Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast down for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheen Ajami out of Atlanta, Georgia, but I got my brother from another mother, but we have the same father. This is the mighty man. This is the Morehouse man. This is Mo. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I'm doing well now that I've got another 400 some odd new brothers certified, not men of Morehouse. Excuse me, not a man of Morehouse, but Morehouse men
Mm-hmm.
who are there, and so the brotherhood is increasing.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I heard it was beautiful over the weekend, brother.
It was absolutely a beautiful, gorgeous ceremony. No, disturbances. Small amount of protesters. You had to get there at 5:30 in the morning
Mm-hmm.
um, to wait till 9. And since it was going to be preachers there, you're going to have to be there a long time.
Oh Lord. Ooh-wee. Yes,
Yes,
Lord.
do those. We're going to have our opening prayer. Now we're going to have a dedication, and
Mm-hmm.
but it becomes a church in a
Mm-hmm.
sense,
Yeah.
because it's devoted to thanking God
Mm-hmm.
for getting us, through that journey, through those years. And it's my 35th class year reunion. To see, some of the brothers out there, marching in their blazers, their alumni blazers, and to hear a very powerful valedictorian who maintained a 3.99 GPA
Mm.
throughout his matriculation at Morehouse, and was a major in physics with minors in neuroscience, and minor in neuroscience and another minor in oh man, I can't remember it. What have you? But this brother was tight, and he's a Rhodes Scholar
Mm.
uh, too. From here in Georgia, raised in working family, who was there to support him and everything else. And he called for the only thing he called for that people could consider a protest was for an immediate and hopefully permanent ceasefire in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And even President Biden clapped up and was like, "That's what I'm saying."
Mm-hmm.
Right
Yeah.
there. So it was no, big protest. I mean, the families were there. It was their day. It wasn't Israel's day. It wasn't the Palestinians' day. It wasn't Biden's day. It was the day of these Morehouse graduates.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Now, what does it feel like? And we're gonna stay on this just for a minute or two. I can get other directions I want to go in. But what does it feel like once you walk across that stage and know that you are now a part of the fraternity?
It's a maxim. It's an incredible feeling of relief and accomplishment, and it starts off as you line up at King International Interdenominational Chapel. That's the building where the statue of Dr. King is, and you march through the arches led by drummers, African drummers, calling upon the ancestors and the spirits. And on both sides, as you walk up this long pathway for the last time past your classroom buildings, it is lined on either side by Morehouse men. And then the marshals take you to your seats, and the day, if you got good weather, the day is beautiful. And just walking across that stage, when I graduated, I shook the hands of Spike Lee and Bill Cosby,
Mm-hmm.
and to see the faces that smiled on me, who were my professors, who knew that I could do it. It's just it's a wonderful feeling. It's a
Are
commencement
you
phase in
are
your
you
life.
getting choked up over there, brother?
No, I'm not getting choked up. Just it's the good things that you remember, the
Mm-hmm.
feelings of accomplishment,
Mm-hmm.
that you did something that literally hundreds of thousands wanted to do, thousands trying to do, and only a few thousand made it.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
God,
good.
I'm one of them.
Praise God. Praise God. Good feeling. I'm proud of each and every one of y'all, man. I really am, and for the ones that just came across, for the ones that just graduated, man, looking for some great things, looking for some great. You got some. You're walking in some huge shoes, but
Yes,
keep, keep
Howard
walking,
Furman.
keep walking.
Howard Thurman says Morehouse raises a crown above each student, and that student has to grow until they reach that crown.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Now I want to shift over and ask you another question. Totally off topic, totally different topic altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But what benefits? And I want you to think about this when because it's gonna sound like a weird question. But what benefits do the side chick or the side dude? What benefits do they have?
What benefits do they have?
Yes. What does it benefit somebody to be the side dude or the side chick?
Um, if you're, I've never been the side person.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and there's only been one case where the person was stepping out on me, in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
The benefit is a benefit of narcissistic ego that you're taking somebody else's love, affection, time, and in some cases, money from another person. But you're also possibly taking your life in your own hands. So
You say taken, you say taken, but in some situations, in some instances, the person, the cheater, is giving
well,
to that person, and so
well, mm-hmm,
we have to look at both sides of it.
mm-hmm.
And I don't, and I'm just a question asking, so I don't condone it at all. I want to make sure that I put that out there so people know from the start. I don't condone it at all. I don't condone it. It's not an act or practice that I participate in. Been married, very, very, very happy. Good days, bad days for 28 years now, and so I'm not condoning it at all. I have to talk on both sides of the coin. So go ahead. You say taking, but there's that cheater that's cheating on their spouse or their significant other that's giving that side person, be it the side chick or the side guy, their time.
Right, but you don't have to take everything that's given to you, because what is given sometimes has attachments, or as Jada Pinkett Smith said, entanglements that come with it. If yes, you can be given this and that, and it's feeding that woman's ego, it's feeding that man's ego. But I mean, there literally been hundreds of songs written about me and Mrs. Jones. Don't let the smooth grass, don't let the green grass fool you. Who's stepping out with my old lady? That whole thing.
Who's stepping out with your old lady while you were out making love?
Yeah. I mean, so it's that whole thing is a situation where, like I said, give and take, but the side person also takes their life in their own hands, because you don't know what's going to happen. Just like Beyonce's new cover of Jolene. Instead of Jolene, don't take my man, it's Jolene, don't you come from my man. You don't know what type of butt whooping you're going to get on either side of the fence. It is a grooming for the side person. It is feeding of their narcissistic ego. For the person who is attached and in a relationship, it is a betrayal of trust and affection. If you're married, get out of it. If you're not married, get out of it. If you're not out of it because you need a place to stay, change your life.
But see, all that's good, and a person that has ethics and morals about themselves would walk and live on that. But some people just don't care. Some people say they would rather be that side person because they don't have the same responsibilities that the live-in person have. And so, there's a lot of different things tied into this thing. There's a lot of different levels on this and a lot of different layers. Some people just don't care, and they prefer. They look at somebody. Man, I've seen people look at somebody. Oh, you married? No, and they'll walk away. But they say, "Oh, you married? Yes, okay," and they'll sit there and talk because they want somebody that's married because they don't have to worry about this. Because the lady, the main wife, if you will, or man, if you will, gonna take care of all those other responsibilities. They think the only thing they got to do is have fun.
Hmm. Yeah, when I was my band was playing heavy here in Atlanta, there were sometimes I would wear my wedding ring, and sometimes I wouldn't because it would interfere with my microphone
Mm-hmm.
when I'm playing harmonica because you have to cup and move your hands and everything. But the times that I would wear my ring, um, I was surprised at the number of women who would hit on me,
Absolutely.
even
Absolutely.
with my ring on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I guess it just proves that, oh, he can commit to something. He got something stable, or she got something stable. But that makes that person a horrible individual
Mm-hmm.
who is willing to break up a relationship and everything else, and also bring in a possibility of a disease.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
had a friend,
Yeah. Yeah.
a friend who was his girl was stepping out, and she came back with COVID during the height of
Mm.
COVID.
Yeah.
Gave him COVID.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And and
you just don't
and
know.
and then, like I say, COVID could be HIV, could be AIDS, could be all kind of different hepatitis. It could be all kind of different things that you could
Hmm.
transfer from one person to another person in the course of quote unquote having fun, having
Hmm.
fun. But my thing is, and I got to say this, and again, just for the people that just joined us, got a lot of people that's coming in right now. There's nothing I condone. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm being the question asker today, and the question asker have to ask the questions as they come, and so I don't condone it. Me myself, like I said, I've been married, happily married for 27, 28 years. And so, it hadn't always been peaches and cream every day. Everybody go through their situations, but bringing somebody into the equation was not an option for me nor her.
And I want to say this too. I don't have any friends that I know of who've ever bragged about, yeah, I'm banging some girl. She's married and everything. Her husband don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And we just doing the thing or what have you. I've never had any of my friends like that, and it would disgust me
Mm-hmm.
if I found out that they were doing something like that.
Exactly.
You know,
Good morning, Khalil. How you doing, brother? I see you joined us over there on Big O, man. We got quite a few people that joined. I can't. I try to catch y'all as y'all come in and say hello to you, man. But I can't catch everybody. But I saw when you came in just now. So good morning, brother. We talking about what benefits the side chick or the side dude. What benefits do they have? Do they have any benefits at all? Um, and like I said again, I'm talking on both sides of I'm being the question asker. I don't condone it. I don't welcome it. It's nothing that if and like you said, Mo, if I had a friend that quote unquote was a friend and he came to me, I got blase, man. I was with her last night, blah. I asked, well, don't you know she married? Oh man, it is okay, man. Her husband don't know. That person will not be my friend anymore, man. That person won't be my friend. Okay, man, you know that's wrong, bro. You know that's wrong, bro. And I turn walk away from that person, man, because I can't deal with you. I can't deal with you because of who you are and what you're doing, man. Look at even if these people, even if this young lady or this man is having issues in their marriage, that don't open the door for you to step in there and do what you think you want to do because they look good or you might be able to get this or whatever. No, that don't open the door for that. What you should be doing is trying to, look here, you need to talk to your husband about this. Maybe y'all need to do this or maybe y'all need to do that and try to help them fix it. But most people don't think that way, Mo. Most people don't think like that.
mhm. Yeah, it's about having that moral compass, but also realizing what a narcissist is, and a narcissist personality and borderline personality disorder, of overt narcissist, covert narcissist. The narcissist feeds on things until they get their new supply. They
Mm-hmm.
will take everything, that you have to give them. You'll think you're doing everything, that you can for them. And then they'll just simply get bored of you. And then you become just another one of their narcissistic victims, be they male or female. We see the extreme cases like what we see, what happened with that latest video of a Diddy pulling Cassie and kicking her down the
Mm-hmm.
hallway as she's trying to get out the darn hotel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even his apology, where he didn't ask for forgiveness. He just said, he's going to therapy and he's going to rehab. You know, these are narcissists, this behavior. Now, and if the thing about it is, it always fascinates me. I've been with this man 5 years. I had a female friend who was like, I've been with this man for 10 years and he's going to leave me. And I said, well, wow, y'all were married? And he said, no. And I said, well, why were you with him for 10 years?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, y'all playing house for 10 years?
And that's what they're doing, playing for 10 years, playing. But a lot of times, man, and we're not gonna stay on this too much longer. We're gonna stay, just a few more minutes. But a lot of times, man, a lot of people don't care more. They don't care, man. They don't care about what they're doing. And if there's children involved, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? Now, not only are you affecting the marital part, but you are affecting a family, a whole family, because once it's found out, the other person they gonna, man, look at this, is over, man. You cheated, you stepped out, blah, 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 and it's over. It's over. Now you've destroyed a whole family.
Well, there's something came up on my timeline today from the fathers' rights movement, and it's this quote. It says, "When they didn't respect you in the relationship, don't expect them to do so in the divorce, finances, custody, or anything else." So it's you choose that path. You can choose a path of carnality, immorality, or you can try to be friends and develop a relationship. And when it comes to the kids, if the side chick is a woman with multiple kids, are you crazy for being involved with her? If a man is the side piece with multiple kids, are you crazy for wanting to be involved with him? But if it's the situation where you have kids that are from marriage, and there's a friend of mine, and she has quite a few kids, but just from 2 marriages. But anybody in a relationship with her, they got to deal with a set of young kids from 18 to 11, who are from 4 kids who are 18 through 11. Teenage girl, and 2 teenage girls, 2 teenage boys. So when you're looking at relationships, when you're looking at morality, when you're looking at, what can I give her, or what can she give me? In any type of relationship, male or female, when there's kids involved, it brings in a whole new set of rules. Yes. And you'd be damned, that to not only do this, call yourself a follower of God, and damage other young lives along the way with your narcissistic attitude.
Exactly. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Asking what benefits. And Annie from Mississippi, call in. We see you over there, Annie. Asking the question this morning: what benefits do the side chick or the side dude have? Do people even care? Do they even care, about the relationship? Do they care about each other? Or is it just we're gonna have ourselves a good time? We're gonna come together. We're gonna do what we do, what grown folks do. We're gonna do what grown folks do. Then I'm gonna send you back home. To your significant other, to your husband, or to your wife. Do they even care? So I've heard it said many times. That if a person is not married, they don't want to deal with them. They don't want to have to deal with the headaches of having to be with this person all the time, because a married person only have limited time that they can spend with you. And so, man, I've seen this one girl, man, and this was a young lady, young female. I'm gonna say female, I ain't gonna say lady, but she had a side dude and a boyfriend. She was the side chick to a married man, and she had a boyfriend. What you say to that, man? She was cutting on both ends, brother. Mo, did that knock you out, brother? You all right?
No, I'm sorry. My son, I had to get my son together. I missed your question, please.
Yeah, I was saying I know this young lady, man. She was a side chick to a married man, and she had a boyfriend. So she was cutting it on both ends, brother. She was cutting on both, and she said she didn't care. And her
Mhm.
thing was, men been doing it to us for so many years. Why can't we do it too?
Oh, that's just a selfish excuse.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I mean, here in Atlanta, there are plenty of there are clubs. What's those two clubs? There are two clubs that are adult swingers clubs that you can go to, as a couple or a single woman. You can have private rooms, sex in public. Married couples go there. Um, I mean, that's a lifestyle that people have, a
Mm-hmm.
swinging, lifestyle. It has nothing to do. Men been doing this to us for years. Why can't I? That's just a weak excuse that is trying to bring a foundation to your own issues with how it relates to affection and interaction, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. I'm gonna tell you something. It's it's interesting to me, and not just this topic, but a lot of topics. It's very interesting. I like to know how people think and how they think about certain situations and how they got in certain situations and are they thinking while in those situations. And like you said earlier, Mo, this could be something that could be very dangerous because if you put yourself out there like that and you're the side chick or the side dude and the other person find out, a lot of times they're not gonna go after their husband or their wife first. They're gonna go after that other person. They're gonna go after the other person first because you knew that you knew that he was married or you knew that she was married, and you still disrespected the union that we have. Now, who should who should they go after first?
They should go after themselves first for even thinking about the situation of putting, um, of taking violence in their hands, because that ain't going to change a darn thing. Everybody wants, revenge,
Mm-hmm.
and wants to hopefully get away with justifiable homicide. I knew when I was in college, there was this student. I can't remember his name, but he was messing around with a married white woman,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in college. And one day the husband caught them in bed,
Wow.
and the husband pulled out a gun and fired a gun at the kid, at the student who was having sex with his wife, and he missed, and the student had his gun out and shot the man dead in his own home.
Mm.
And the student, got away with justifiable homicide.
Mm.
Okay, so that's what happens. I know a woman who's a very good friend of mine. She called her husband cheating, a man that she knew since high school, and she winds up looking through the door to her back patio or something and sees them having sex, and she passes out and crashes through the plate glass window.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing
Mm.
she got, ambulance around her and binding her up and everything else. So when you talk about who should they go after, neither of them, because it's just tragedy
Yeah.
all the way around. No one is right in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Asking the question, what benefit do the side chick or the side dude, what benefits do they really have? Eddie from Mississippi. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Hey, doing well, doing well. And I gotta ask you the question. What benefits do the side chick or the side dude? What benefits do they really have?
My answer to that is they have the benefits that the spouse that's stepping out allowed them to have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can remember many years ago, many years ago. Let me put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
when I was in that situation,
Okay.
and I had a side dude,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that he just had the benefits that he had, which was basically nothing because I would not allow him to know my address.
Mm-hmm.
I would not allow him, he don't know how, they have no idea, had no idea where I live at. I would meet him at, restaurants that no one frequent,
Mm-hmm.
that people that I know didn't frequent often. But then again, Raheem, there are some situations where the spouse can give, that side person just as much attention as the husband of the wife. Many times people will give that side person more respect and, give them basically, just about what they're looking for in a relationship and totally ignore the person that they're married to. So it's really up to that individual.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
when I went through that, that was nothing that I wanted to do,
mm-hmm.
but I found myself doing it, but I made a commitment to myself that I was not going to overlook my husband. I mean, I was not going to, make him even think that I was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked a job at that time that required me to work graveyard shift from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
So when I would meet up with this guy, I would tell him that I was working.
Yeah. Wow.
I done that.
Mhm.
I'm guilty of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that was many, many, many moons ago before that was my previous marriage, not the one I'm in now.
Yes. Absolutely.
But that's what I done. And it didn't last long because I felt some kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel dirty. I felt like I was, I would see my husband working to provide, and he was a good man, and I felt guilty about doing it. So I didn't do it. I didn't do that very long. I done it for a moment,
Mm-hmm.
but and the side dude wanted to, take over my home and be my man. You can't, I put him in a place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was where, that's all he was going to get from me.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Yeah.
just that for that moment, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
No going out, to malls and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
He wanted to come to my church a few times. I wasn't gonna have that.
Mm-hmm.
He was just sneaking around, but I knew that I could not leave my home for that. I wasn't prepared to do that, and I couldn't do that. So that's just my answer to what you said.
And let me ask you this question, and this is I don't even know if this is a fair question, but I'm gonna ask the question: who does the cheater? I'm gonna say the cheater just to put a label on it. The one that's stepping out. Who does they love more? Their spouse, who they're lying to, or the side person who they can't really commit to?
Well, at that particular time, I loved my husband, but I liked the guy. But for me, let me just tell you, how I looked at the situation was like, I could not leave what I had that was stable.
Yeah.
My husband was a provider. My husband had done a lot of things, and he was a very hard worker. And I couldn't walk away from stability for lust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was lust out there. And I did care for the guy, but I knew how far I had to go because I was thinking long term.
Yeah.
I was thinking long term. So, and I looked at it from that, from the point of view as, if I leave him, this is what he can do. This is what I have.
Mm-hmm.
So I could not walk away from what we were trying to build at that time for lust and for, a temporary feeling. I just couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Many people have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. It was just too much because I didn't want to be bound down with debt. And I didn't want to be, working harder because this guy that I was dating, he didn't have a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was just basic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't want to do basic. I wasn't trying to live basic like that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I shouldn't say it like that, but I'm just telling the truth about myself.
That's the truth.
Okay?
Yeah, that's the truth. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to go back to Mo, but I'm going to ask you this question: how would you have dealt with the reality had he found out, and you had to look into his eyes and this man is absolutely hurt because he felt betrayed, or he betrayed. He felt as though you betrayed him and the union that y'all had. How would you have dealt with that?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Okay. I would have felt bad
Mm-hmm.
because my husband went to work every day, not 5 days, not 6 days, but every day.
Mm-hmm.
He never took off ever. But me, letting the enemy lead me, looking at something from the outside, you know, looking at, just love. That's all it was, love. And even though the guy, the side dude, wanted to go further, I just couldn't. I couldn't. I had to weigh my pros and cons. I just couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to go to a new level, to the next level, but I couldn't do it. And had I looked, my husband found out, I would have been hurt, because the one thing I did not and I would not do was make him feel bad.
Yeah.
And I done it in such a way that when it was time for me to get out of work, the next morning, when I said I was working at 7:30, I would be in my house.
Mm-hmm.
I would be in my home, so he thought I was still working.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have been hurt, extremely, felt pretty bad had he found out what I was doing, because that was never my intention. And when things got, deeper, and this guy kept pressing me to leave my husband, pressing me, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Mm-mm.
Absolutely. Mo, what are you hearing, brother? Because that's this it's a real situation, man. It's a real situation.
Well, what I'm hearing is that that song by the Eurythmics, "Sweet Dreams Are Made of These." Some of them want to abuse you, while some will want to be abused by you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sometimes people are letting themselves be willing victims. Okay. No one wants to be the victim
Mm-hmm.
of this situation. But then you have the option to be a predator in relationship, in a weak, just like a predator looks on weaker prey, you're looking on weaker relationships and
Mm-hmm.
what you can get out of it. The predator is going to get that meal, that easy meal.
Mm-hmm.
The predator is going to get some comfort, relief. And then if it's a parasitic predator, a parasite that hangs on, then once again, you're taking advantage of the host body. When you take advantage of the host, there is an issue, because it's so easy for people. And I'm just talking from a guy point of view. It's just it's so easy to say, I was abused by such and such, and da 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 da, and then you get to know him, and then you're like, wait a minute, some of the decisions that you make doesn't make you a victim. It makes you the victimizer. And it's hard for people to realize when they were the victimizer. Okay. And once you wake up and realize, oh my God, I'm the victimizer in this. I hurt people. I got to come to grips with that.
Mm-hmm.
Be you male or female. You got to come to grips when you were the victimizer, when you broke up a relationship, when you hurt somebody's heart, when they opened their heart, their soul, their everything to you, and you took and you stepped out on the side because you had that little bit of bank, that your steady there provider had for you. You had your own vehicle, you had a roof over your head, and you had the audacity, be you male or female, to sully the relationship bed, having sex with a person in their marriage bed, all these things, then you're the victimizer. You're not the victim.
Mm-hmm. See, that's touchy to me. That's touchy to me, because that's a very narrow road to walk down. Victim and victimizer. That's a very narrow road to walk down right there, because a lot of times, truth of the matter, and I got to go right back where I started. A lot of times, people don't care nothing about all that, though.
Then you're the victim. Then you're the victimizer.
But see, all those titles and stuff, people don't care nothing about that. What they care about is getting that temporary moment of peace, of joy, of happiness, sexual or pleasure, if you will. One of the big words on here for a couple of years ago used to be pleasure. They want to get that pleasure, and that's all they're thinking about. And Annie from Mississippi. Annie is a great person, man. Love her, man. That's my sister. And she wasn't, and I don't think her mindset was set towards trying to be a victim and or a victimizer. She just got caught up in a moment. So what do you say to that? I think she just got caught up in a moment at that time, and she said it. She said, "I felt bad. I felt bad." And then, the pressure, they try to pressure. You got to leave him. Come on over here with me. Well, Joker, you ain't got how you can't even take care of yourself. How you gonna take care of two people when you can't really take care of yourself? She said he had.
And Raheem,
yes.
I want to say something.
Yes.
I hate to interrupt. When I was going through that, in the back of my mind, this is what I kept thinking. See, I had a best friend that I introduced her to her husband many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had a grown son together and grandchildren together, and I watched her do this to him. But I'm not perfect, but I refuse to go that far with it because what I watched her do was he was on dialysis, and when he received the kidney, they were married, everything was going well. But then one day, this guy came down there to her family home to do some work on her mom's home with another guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was just somebody he picked up from by the road to come help him, to fix the roof or whatever the case may be. But anyway, when he winked at her that day, it caused her to go way out. I mean, not only from winking at her and showing her a little bit of attention, to dating her, going to his home, staying weeks at a time, then eventually staying months, and then eventually leaving the husband that had just got a kidney. And the husband was so stressed out over the situation, he lost the kidney again. He once again, all the stress that she put him through caused him to lose his kidney again. And eventually he died.
Wow.
And I thought about that. I said, wait, I don't want to go that far with this thing. I just want to, I'm just doing something for the moment. And I was so repenting to God all the time, over and over again. Lord, I know I shouldn't have done this right here, but I kept my boundaries. I knew how far to go. Mm-hmm. And when someone started pressuring me and telling me, well, let's go to church together. Let me come to your church. You can't do all that because now you want to come into my space, and this space that I have, it's not for you to invade. Because I have you in a place over here. You were over here every purple moon. So you can't come into my space because now the thing you want to come into my church family. You want to them to see me with you, which I wasn't about to do that. And people begin to talk. So I'm like, no. I had a time and a place for him, for us to meet at my own, on my own terms. But I refuse to be the person that will cause the husband all the stress that I watched my friend put her husband through. And I'm not saying I'm better than she was, because I'm not, but I knew how far to go. Mm-hmm. And I was not going to cause my husband not 1 ounce of pain, by letting him see what I was doing. And one of his children to come to my house. You can't come to my home. I never gave him my address. Mm-hmm. When we meet, I always drove a different vehicle, and I was in a different direction of my home and go the long way around, because I did not want him to know where I live. Yeah. And I know I was bad for doing that, but that was the old person. I'm not that person anymore, but that is what I've done.
Mm-hmm. And I want to, just for the record, let everybody know that, and she said it earlier, it's not the marriage that she's in. She was a younger person then. It was the first marriage that she was in. She's in a different marriage right now. And that is not the case at all. It's a totally different situation. So I want to make sure I make that clear so people don't think that you're talking about the marriage that you're in right now. Leonard, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning? Okay. Can't hear you. There you go. I think I got you there. Say something.
No, that was me. That was Molly. I said,
no. Can't hear you, Leonard. Can't hear you, brother. Okay, Leonard's gonna come right back. Let me go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra asking a question. What benefits do the side chick or the side dude? What benefits do they really have? Or do they even care about the benefits at all? Or are they just in it for a good time?
Wait a minute. Ask that question again.
What benefits do the side chick or the side dude? What benefits do they really have?
They can have more than you. So, because they know that you can only see them at certain times and all that. So it gives them room to have their cake and eat it too, and enjoy, enjoy the freedom of no commitment to you, and you getting, I guess, whatever it is that you want out of the person. I don't make me talk about this, because I'm gonna say something. You don't want me to talk about this.
No. People need to hear it, because a lot of times people think that they're just having fun. It's just fun. We just having fun together. No. It's a lot more than that.
There's a whole lot more to that, man.
Yeah.
You're hurting yourself, you're hurting families. See, side women and men think that, oh, I'm just getting my little freak on, but you're doing damage. And see, we can go so deep on that, because spiritually, you just done messed up big time spiritually. So we wouldn't even want to get on that subject. But you just think of what you're doing to the family, even if the wife doesn't know you're doing damage. You know why? Because when you have two people that have become one flesh, according to the becoming one in God, when you interfere with that, you're bringing stuff to your own door.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that side pieces think they got, but they don't realize how bad it's going to get. And I can tell you that firsthand. We've talked about that before.
Yes.
Because my ex had a side piece, and she was very bold. And, well, we ain't going to go there, because you know what I did to her. But anyway.
Exactly. Leonard, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
Hey, man,
Morning.
we talking about. Hey, good morning. Good to have you, brother. We talking about it, and I don't know what direction you're gonna take this one right here, brother. But I'm very interested to see what benefits do the side chick or the side dude. What benefits do they really have, or do they even care? Is it just we just doing what we do? We grown folks having a good time.
I mean, if that's what it is, that's all it is. I mean, some people they're not interested in being with one person. And it's best when people understand that situation. I don't have a problem with what other people do. That's their business. So if you need two women, that's what you get. I used to have this saying back in the day: I got one I want, one I need, and one I should have. So I mean, it just depends on what's their purpose. What did you get them for? Why do you have them? That is for that particular person's enjoyment. I don't slight people for what they do. Just don't come to me with your problems.
Would you have there ever been a time, or would you? And you married that man now, certainly not right now, but would you be a side dude?
Not in a marriage situation. No, not in a marriage situation. No, because that would be adultery. But I don't believe in commitment outside of marriage really much either. So,
so long as if it's boyfriend and girlfriend, it's fair game, basically.
Yeah, I don't. What's the point? If you ain't, where you going? What you gonna do?
Exactly.
I mean, if you ain't got no purpose, you liable to do anything.
Yeah.
So all this foolishness people are going, you ain't even got no commitment from a person.
Well, Leonard, what the verge that people gonna have. We were in a committed relationship.
No, you weren't. No, not if you two didn't agree to that. You were. The reason why a person don't. There's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't marry a person. But the reason that people don't get married is so when they do step out and do what they want to do, that's what they can tell you. I ain't married to you.
Yeah.
Now you can play around with it all you want to, and you can get mad. It's ridiculous. to be mad with somebody who ain't committed to you, going and being with somebody else. Yeah. It does not make sense, folks. And then you got a woman always, well, I thought what you thought about it, but you ain't talking to nobody about nothing. You made an assumption. Trust me, if I wanted you that much exclusively, I would have let you know. And then just because I let you know I want you exclusively, don't mean that I'm going to be exclusive.
Wow. Now, see, Leonard, that right there sounds like one of the characteristics that Mo told me earlier, like a narcissistic.
No, it's just mindset. That one. What I want, and I've always been very direct about it. I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna get you involved in. I saw you with, so you'll probably see me with them again. Matter of fact, if you showed up every Thursday at a certain time, you would see me with them. Now, if you don't like the situation, go your own way.
So you'll give them that freedom.
Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely, no problem. That's why I've never been in committed relationships outside of marriage. I hadn't really had no girlfriends or none of that or anything like that. Because I don't believe in bonding myself to folks like that. So, I never assume somebody is committed to me.
That's good. That's good. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Curtis, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Hey, morning, man. Morning, family. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Tucson, come to you next, sir. What benefits, Curtis, do the side chick or the side dude, what benefits do they have?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm grounding myself these days, and man, you know what? I'm staying out of people's personal lives. I'm staying out of their personal lives. It's not my job. I'm kind of with Leonard on this one right here, man. Look, it's not my job, man. It's just this turns into gossip, man. I don't want nothing to do with that. So I stay in my lane, bro. I don't even give advice on relationships anymore.
Wow.
It's not the same world.
What do you mean it's not the same world?
It's not the same world. It's even in that element, it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? You as honest as Leonard just put that out there, and as honest as you can be, I mean, you got people that still that will. You know what? There's a show on Netflix. Oh my God, I forgot the title of it already. But it's about a stalker woman, man. You got people, males and females that are stalk and will formulate a whole thing. Like, and people will believe them over you. And you saying
you just talking about Baby Reindeer show. Baby Reindeer.
I'm with Leonard on this one, man. But I mean, for me, man, I'm not. Nah, man. I'm staying out of people's personal relationships.
Okay, but see, my thing is, you know, I'm not asking you to get into their personal relationship. I'm asking you what benefits looking and not like that.
I just told you I don't know.
What you mean?
I just told you I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, that's a question that I'm just gonna be transparent and honest. I don't know at this point. I don't know.
Okay. Let me go to Tucson, because I mean, I don't condone it. I don't agree with it. I've been happily married for 27, 28 years, and not every day has been peaches and cream. But I've never exercised or wanted to exercise a side person in my relationship. I have seen it, and I can't say that I don't know, because I had conversations with people that's been in situations like this. So I know, like I said earlier, I like to check and find out how people think, how they think about this or how they think about that. I like doing that. And so I know what they're thinking or what their mindset is. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. But I would never say I don't know. I do know. Tucson, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
All right. Okay.
Oh Lord, oh Lord, Leonard, put your seatbelt on, brother. Put your seatbelt on. Strap it tight. What benefit do the side chick or the side dude? What benefit do they have?
It's somewhere in between the thigh and the waistline.
Exactly.
Lord Jesus.
Mm-hmm. You wanted something else?
No, not that's your
Give him some more. Give him some more.
Sometimes they get a Valentine's gift. They get a Christmas gift. They get an Easter gift. They get this. They get that every once in a while. But most of the time it's because it's between and the waistline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now I'm the one that will at least say, because how can I say this? Some people play like, no. I don't mean no. I'm not gonna say it like that. There are some people that until they get found out, they act like they never had a chick on the side.
Yeah.
I hear you talking.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you talking.
Mm-hmm.
And matter of fact, when the rubber meets the road, they find out that you didn't have a chick on the side.
And a whole family.
Well, you did have a chick on the side, and you a chick.
Ooh.
And then if the wife find out that the husband didn't have a chick on the side, he had another dude. It's a dude.
Good Lord.
He's on the down low.
Good Lord.
Packing peanut butter, shoveling mud.
That doggone Tucson, boy.
That's my main man, Tucson, right there.
Oh, he gonna bring it to you now. He gonna bring it. Mo, talk to me, brother. Mo, you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do two things at once. We can go through the different things, and sometimes it's the woman who has a piece of carpet on the side that you don't know about. Her girlfriends, when they have their girls' break, or I'm going to my girlfriend's house, and all of a sudden you find out your girl is bisexual. They talk about the down low men, but not the down low women. And I've met so many women in Atlanta who are bisexual. But when it goes to going back to the advantage of what's happening, Annie was making the point about the person who had the kidney transplant. When I was married, and 3 months after I was married, my wife was diagnosed with cancer. Okay, and it was a struggle during that time period of taking care of her, being her caretaker. And then when I had my twin boys, the chemo affected her heart and everything and made it bad health. I didn't step out on her. I had that role as caretaker. Okay. But there were women who would try to come after me. And because I had some type of moral compass, I was tempted, but it wasn't worth it. And so when you're in a caretaker relationship with your wife, your spouse, and mother of your children, is something different. And the other thing is this: if you're in a side chick, side guy type situation, all right, why even be married? Why you just be single and stop breaking those bonds and relationships? And that's when I talked about the victimizer and the victim. If you deliberately went after a person in a relationship with all the choices that are here because you wanted the lowest hanging fruit on the tree, and sometimes that can be rotten fruit, and you went after that particular situation, that makes you the victimizer. And there's no way that you can justify it, anything else, even what you had to go through in order to be the victimizer. Changing the way you move, changing the cars you're driving, everything like that. The amount of energy and money and duplicity in your mind that you did this because you wanted a relationship with another committed person shows that you are a victimizer. And yes, you wake up and then one day you realize that was wrong of me, but I was the victim because I was going through this at the time. No, you made the choice. You made the choice. And it's not a comfortable choice, but it's a choice that we have to fight with, that we realize when we have done wrong. And you don't have to tell other people about it. You can repent that to God.
Mm-hmm.
And any way you want, and do no more. When you go to confession, you do the prayer of contrition, you're given your penitence and told to do it, don't do it again.
Mm-hmm. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Leonard, you ready for this? You ready for this? Brother Pete, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Pete has been on my mind. I'm gonna call you later, Pete.
Pete, you there?
Yeah, I'm partnering with the mute button, laughing at y'all. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, doing good. Doing good, brother. Hey, man, asking the question.
Yes,
what benefits do the side chick or the side dude, what benefits do they have?
Well,
what
benefit does the side chick and the side dude have?
Do they really have?
They're a major release factor, because let's say that it seems that they may contribute to easing some stress, easing depression.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But they also gonna help ease you up out of your funds. They may very easily help ease you out of your permanent relationship, and the structured style of what you call lifestyle may come to a brief or swift, drastic adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that the benefit that the side chick or dude have is truly to be a release valve. Now, what are they relieving or releasing? That's up for debate or personal experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. Cassandra, one of your girls come to you. One of your girlfriends, they come to you, Cassandra, and they say, well, and they confide in you. They have a side dude because their husband just is boring. He don't want to do nothing no more. He just want to sit there and go to work, come home, sit there and look at TV or blase, or play the video, or whatever it is. He's just not bored. He's just not exciting no more. And so she went out there and she got Jimmy. And Jimmy is lighting her fire. Cassandra, what do you say to her?
No, I can't say that on the radio. I'm sorry. I almost said it, but I cannot say that on. Man, listen, the people around me know better.
Mm-hmm.
They will not come to me with that. Promise.
Mm-hmm.
The couple over the years that have, they were sorry they came to me, because you're not going to tell me if you want your marriage, ain't no side nothing, no side piece.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make me. Yeah, no, we not doing that. If you don't want to be married, then you need to go ahead and just get out of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's to the point that you got to go out there and get woo-wah from somebody other than your mate, your marriage partner, then you need to especially, I'm not talking about somebody that might have a one-time affair or something. I'm talking about people that just got their side piece. Me and my side piece. I wish
Do you want me to fill in the blank? Because I know what word go there.
Yeah, don't say it, bro.
I mean, Leonard, no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, no, my friends don't know. They know better, because if they come to me with it, I'm gonna blow such a big hole in them till they not physically, but they know that no, I don't approve of that. I've been there. I know the kind of pain and hurt that I experienced. And I would hate to know that my friends are doing that to somebody. I mean, it's just, that's a painful thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
Betrayal. Mm-hmm. We can say all we want on here by, well, they want to do what they want to do, but betrayal is a painful thing in a marriage.
Yeah.
Painful.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying.
Wow. 508-924-3521. You're listening to DKM Media Group and Associates, and this is the Morning Glow. This is the Morning Glow, and this is the time where I come to you. I'll tell you, if you like the broadcast, if you find what we're saying helpful in any kind of way, and you want to support the broadcast, Cash App, $DKM Radio. $DKM Radio. Send a donation to the platform. $DKM Radio. Now, Leonard, I thought I was watching a Kung Fu movie for a second. She said, "Woo wow." She said, she had you at what now?
I love that right there.
Exactly. Talk to me, Leonard.
I think, it's too much going on these days, and there's too many people coming up with big words and all these types of things to explain plain old lust. Plain old lust and sin. All these new things people calling poly this and poly that and blah, 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 blah. Man, y'all ain't doing nothing new. Y'all just as wicked as the day is long. Matter of fact, this was one girl at one time, and she would come and stay sometimes because her and her husband was having problems. She said, well, I ain't had nowhere else to go and blah, 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 whatever. She takes, I used to have a pull-out couch for people who needed a place to stay and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's strange to me that you had a problem in your marriage, and then I come up here and find you in my bed. Go back downstairs. That's why you got problems now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just people find themselves in situations, and then I know those situations where this is acceptable. I'm very, very well acquainted with that, where people find themselves in situations and they have two families, one on one side of town, another on the other side of town.
Yeah.
Because you've done what you've done, and unfortunately, you've done it raw. Now you got mouths to feed.
Exactly.
And other responsibility. Come on, y'all married to folks got child support. Somebody else.
9 months later.
I'm just saying. When you get caught up in things, the wages of sin are death, as I was taught. Death could be death to your freedom. It could be death to your disposable income.
Yeah.
It could be death to your ability to move and go where you want to go, because you've created so much mess around you that now you're responsible for that, and you have to deal with it. Look at all these men with all these folks with all these. I don't want to offend nobody.
Offend them.
I understand you being married and your marriage not working out, and you getting a divorce and moving on. But all this having babies by 2 and 3 different people and all that, I never desired that whatsoever. And God, thank you for not allowing me to be in that situation. 2 and 3 baby mamas, all this type of carrying on. What do you think the outcome of that is? That will leave you mentally and emotionally drained.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so whatever you put out, you have to realize it's going to come back in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And thanks for the grace of God that some of us have that forgiveness and that shielding that has protected us from our behavior. And some of you have just gotten lucky. But to act like you don't know what you're doing that's why people do drugs. Let's do some X. Why? So we can release all of our inhibitions and blah, 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 blah. It's nothing for, I've heard these days for now, this thing where, well, women, I believe I've seen it in movies and stuff and heard about it for a long time. But now you don't woke up and you think somebody done you wrong. No. Because you regret what you done last night don't mean somebody took advantage of you. You went out there and did what you did. Remember the song "Blame It on the Alcohol"?
Yeah, blame it on the
yeah,
exactly.
Why do you think folks go out and do alcohol and do Molly and do all this other type of thing? And so you have to be careful around the company you keep. Like Miss Cassandra say, your friends ought to know you well enough, not to come to you with no mess. Well, I'm gonna tell you cheating on your wife, and you come, well, I got this little thing. I don't want to hear about it. I really don't. Because your problem is that. Next.
Yeah.
That's what your problem is. Next. But then there are some people who enjoy that lifestyle. So don't be wooing everybody. Oh, they so sad. No, they're not. They living like sinners live. They're enjoying what they want to enjoy. So like I was saying, like what Kurt would say, man, I take care of my relationship. I'm in one relationship. That's the one I'm worried about. Nobody else's. And if she came in here today and said, you know what, I just think I want something else, get your stuff and go on then. We'll go right down into the courthouse, take care of this business. I've seen too many times where a woman has justified stuff just for that little scenario you gave. Well, he don't like to go out, he don't like to do this, and he don't like to do that. Well, then go down to the courthouse and divorce him and go do what it is you want to do.
Yeah. But do it the right way.
I'm a big fan of people leaving situations they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to go to counseling to figure out why somebody else cheating. Oh, hell, excuse me. You don't go to counseling to figure out how y'all going to be together.
Don't.
Maybe I wish I would beg some female to be with me. For what? What do I need to do to make you happy with? Please. Please.
Leave. Because evidently you ain't happy.
Celebrate like it's Juneteenth. What?
What I got to do? What I got? Leave.
You somebody think somebody owe you this and we're doing too much. Except like I used to tell folks, here you don't stray at all outside of the will of God. Now you want to go get some godly counseling.
See, Leonard, you trying to raise the divorce rate. We're not trying to raise.
I don't care nothing about the divorce rate. Everybody shouldn't be married.
You trying to raise the divorce. We're trying to keep these folks together, Leonard. We're trying to keep them together. We're trying to obviously.
No, I don't believe in bad relationships. No, you got to cut them suckers.
Brother Pete, talk to me, brother. I ain't fooling with Leonard. And see, there you go. There you go.
It's
say,
hard.
Lord,
it's gonna be hard to come behind that because he just dropped the bomb on you. That's right. And dear Sister Cassandra said it in the first place. You're talking about a side piece. That means you already have an original piece, right? Something you done went through a ceremonial process and committed yourself to, and said some oaths and got these contractual obligations, and now you out here doing what? Because herpes got a lot of syphilis.
Come on, man. Come on.
It ain't no comeback from a whole bunch of that. It ain't no comeback from that. You know, it's one time, once and done. You got it, now you got it forever. Like, that's what you want. I mean, a baby would be a major issue, but would be a relief when you think about having HIV or AIDS. Or even syphilis, and you don't even get tested or don't know that you have it, and by the time you find out, you're going blind.
Come on, Pete.
That's what I mean. Like, so what part of the process of indulging sexually with yourself or anybody else is fulfilling to that result? Or what level of insanity are we dealing with? Maybe that's the question we need to ask.
Yeah, I like that. I like how you said that.
Some things are founded just because they are. It takes a man and a woman to come together and make a child. Right? It's just now you can do all your variations, cheat tree dishes, and get a stand in and blah. Okay, yeah, right. But you take a man and a woman to make a child, right? Now, some things are founded. This is why sexual relations has always been known as a standard with us as beings to be in a committed relationship and routinely what we call marriage. Why? Because outside of that, it's usually chaotic. Normally, it's some problems, some issues. There's something going on because the structure of how it's supposed to go is not in place. Notice for all y'all that are unbelievers and don't want to hear it and have issues, I didn't say nothing about God, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, none of that. I said the normal process of how things should go. You out here like you say, having babies. Baby mama, baby daddy drama today is a whole nother level of unspeakable nonsense. And it messes up people's lives for 20 and 30 years. Some people, they end up losing their life. What about the child, though? What about the innocence that was created through this foolishness or these should not be situations? How damaged are they? Is that why we got a bunch of these psychopathic, narcissistic, mentally, underdeveloped or deranged individuals walking around, savages. Is that why? People that don't understand basic right from wrong because they wasn't taught right from wrong, basic right from wrong. You know, like you shouldn't take something that's not yours. Like how long do we have to explain these little elementaries to you? Treat people how you want to be treated. You go around acting like you're a terrorist, and then when somebody terrorizes you, all of a sudden it's a problem. You call them a foul charges. Hold on, player. This is how you act. What do you mean? You thought you was the toughest. You ran up on somebody that was tougher. Now what? Now pick your teeth up off the ground. Why does it have to come to that? It starts with the foolishness of you wanting to be individually and collectively irresponsible. Do you know how to tame your urges? Y'all ever heard the term when you talk to young people, you tell them tame your youth? Keep yourself in check.
Yes.
Just go out here and do everything that you think you're big enough to do. Because let me tell you, you ain't bad enough or tough enough to take what's going to come behind your action. The response to it. I'm telling you, you're not.
Good deal.
If you haven't lived long enough to experience it, I'm telling you, you're not. You want to do a backflip, do that with your girl at the house. Do that with your husband at the house. Figure that out between that union y'all in. Don't come out here with all this chaos, man. And then let me say this and get out the way. 50 years from now, do you all understand when they research history today, from the 70s and 60s, whatever, coming up to today, we are going to look like savages and heathens and animals and some type of creatures with the way we swap bodily fluids on a regular basis with each other?
Amen.
It's going to look like a cesspool of filth and nastiness.
Wow.
So who wants somebody that's used up? Mostly nobody. But look at this society. Who's not used? In this society, you from your young years to your early 20s, how many partners do the average have? Because they bragging about having over 100.
Wow. 50. Yes,
pornography star.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. We got a guest should be coming in just a few minutes. I'm waiting on her to come in right now. But in the meantime, Curtis, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I don't have too much to say, brother. I don't have anything on my heart. I'm learning nowadays to not put things on my heart, man.
It's great.
My heart will never be broken. You know, like this whole situation, I don't put no weight in it. Let me tell you something I was taught. Because see, I never grew up I was never raised to be a jealous individual. I was never raised to be an envious individual. I was never raised to be none of that. So see, the way that I don't live my life is, guess what? I give less than 2 cans of 50-year-old sardines about what you're doing. Because the truth of the matter is, there's one truth to this whole thing. Guess what? 9 times out of 10, you might find somebody better. 10 times out of 10, you're going to find somebody worse. But the one thing that's true is you ain't never going to find me again. God only made one of me. So see, I don't deal with that stuff, man. What's good for the goose is good for the game. If you're going to play that game, if you're going to be out there, and this for all the listeners, if you're going to be out there like that, please understand the consequences and repercussions.
Yes,
understand
absolutely.
What can come back. Understand what you can lose. And please, 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 please know what you're gaining. But I'm not going, man, I ain't got no hell to put nobody in it. I ain't got no heaven to take them out. People going to do what they do, man. What we talking about has been going on since man. You know, have y'all seen the post? Have y'all seen this latest post that somebody posted on Instagram? It's 3 dogs in the post. And 2 dogs is male and female dogs. The male and female dog is they having fun. They get ready to do the doo-doo. And big dog come running over. Him and the other male dog, they have a little spat or whatever. the big dog run off and the female dog run off with her.
Mm-hmm.
They go on the other side of the yard. Leave the little dog standing there, right? Man, sex, the exchange of bodily fluids, like Brother P say, the exchange of bodily fluids will be here until an asteroid hit this place and completely destroy the earth. The object of sex from a scientific point of view is by far one of the most attractive, one of the most attractive, like a magnet, man. People, you know, like a magnet in metal. What's gonna happen? People just, I'm sorry, man. I know this is a gospel station, but I don't. It's so much more going on right now, man. That the last thing on my mind is who my old lady is laying with, who my homeboy old lady is laying with, or who my homeboy laying with outside of his house. That's the last thing on my mind, man. There's so much more going on, man. You know, it's just so much more going on that's so much more important. You know what I mean? I don't even want to go into it because I don't want to change the topic of the show, but it's just so much more going on right now, man. That's not my focus.
Okay.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
And we have to be very careful with what is supposedly current and popular, because what it is doing is creating, like Pete will say, when they look back and look at us, well, we revelations for sure. We don't. Sodom and Gomorrah has nothing on us.
Wow.
Nothing. You can get an app on your phone that will locate somebody that just want to have sex and they closest to you. Come on now.
Wow.
But y'all don't want to teach facts to your children. Like my mother said, I'm going to teach you the right thing to do because you can learn wrong on your own. And that's why we have to guard our children and everybody that we love and care about when it comes to this. You can live, it ain't free.
Yeah.
My daddy was kind of straightforward, like I said, like Tucson. And I love dogs, but my dad wouldn't let me have a girl dog. And he said, I'm going to tell you what they're going to happen. You get this girl dog, you're going to wake up one morning, going to be a whole bunch of dogs sitting outside. That's why I never wanted a daughter. Mentally, I can't, I'm not prepared to handle it.
Man, I got 4.
God bless you. My nieces alone know how crazy I am when it comes to stuff like that. And you're feeling things, man, you don't hurt that little girl's feelings or what. I tell her, well, I'm just trying to make her better. Because I know her better than she know herself. You heard what I said? Women, y'all think y'all winning. Men don't have problems because we don't care nothing about being whores. We don't care. We don't care about being called sluts and dogs. We don't care. You the one care. We don't. Men just not getting to the point where they just say no. You know why? Because these women is beating down the door. I know guys that phones ring off the hook just for you to come over and put it in. You're not winning, women.
And on that note, we about to change the topic. On that note, so Leonard getting a little graphic on me there. Leonard getting a little graphic on me. But I want to bring getting a little graphic there.
Leonard is going there. He's going ancient pimp style.
Yeah, exactly. But what I want to do right now is we do have our guest here. She's gonna come in, and as a matter of fact, she's been with us a couple of weeks ago, and I want to bring her back in and get it on the screen. She got some fancy stuff with a volume there. Let me see. Let me see here. Tonya, you have those speakers?
I think so. So. Good morning, Raheem. How are you?
I'm doing well. Turn it down just a little bit. So we can
turn the volume down a little.
Yes, because it's a feedback coming through.
Okay, got you. How's that?
Let me see. Check. Still.
Okay. I'll turn it down a little bit more. How's that?
Let me see. Check.
Hello?
Okay. Do me a favor. Go out and come back in. I think it may be something. Go out and come back in.
All right, we'll do.
Okay. And while she's doing that, Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Nothing. I'm with Leonard. They want to come in and stick it in. I mean, I don't. You can't come in and just.
That's why I love Miss Cassandra.
Oh,
because Miss Cassandra is doing something with her celibacy. That's the hardest thing in the world for people to do.
Mm-hmm. I'm still getting that feedback some kind of way. Let me see. Check. Yeah, I'm still getting that feedback. Is it on speaker or?
Oh, I could. Let me do this. Let me put some earplugs in. Maybe that'll work better for you.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Let me. While you do that, let me go to Mo. Mo, what's on your heart, brother?
Well, no, what Brother Leonard was saying about the apps and everything. Even in ancient times, remember that.
Mo, you ain't got no apps, do you?
No.
Okay.
Even in ancient times, people could go to the temple prostitute and pay. And if you remember the prophet Hosea, his wife Gomer, he had to buy her back multiple times from the temple because she would go and be a temple prostitute. And because you get, it wasn't the Jewish temple, but it was the other gods and everything here. And we don't have anything on Corinth or Sodom and Gomorrah. It was an insult to call someone a Corinthian at some time because anything went there. So it's always been there. I personally know someone who's been married 5 times. Almost got married again. 2 of her husbands tried to kill her. One boyfriend tried to stab her in the chest, and she talked about being a victim of and all this trauma. But hell, there was some stuff on that she was doing that continued to happen. And then she just went back to her lifestyle of, since she was not going to get married, to be with whoever she wanted to be with, male or female, anytime she wanted to. And she makes money. So it wasn't a question of being poor or hustling. She got her own stuff.
Wow. Let's see I think we might have fixed it. I think we may be onto something there, Karen. I think we may be onto something. Your video, there you go. Oh, there we go. Now we're cooking with grease. Can't fry that chicken in water. And I want to take this opportunity right now and let you introduce yourself. I want to thank you again for joining us. Today is the big day, y'all. Today is the big day. So make sure you all go out and vote. Make sure y'all go out and vote today. And I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, but one of the people that I'm going to vote for is on the screen right now. Okay. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what's going on, how we looking, what we need to do. I know we need to vote, but what else is going on in your world? So talk to us.
All right. So, hi. I just want to say I'm Karen Renee, and I run for Congress in the 13th District, and I'm running. Today is the last day to vote, May 21st, for the primary. And I'm asking all of your listeners to go out and vote for Karen Renee. If you see my name on the ballot, please go down the ballot and vote for me. There are so many wonderful things that I would love to do for your community, and to make sure that all the funding that we could possibly bring back to help ease some of the inflation and the tax burdens from the residents in this district would be absolutely awesome. I have been in the district for a minute, engaging with a lot of the residents and encouraging them and helping them. And hopefully today I've earned your vote to be your next congressional person for the 13th District.
Good deal. Let me ask you this question. In being out there, because I know you've been very busy. What is the 1, 2, 3 things maybe that you've learned by being out there that you didn't know going in?
The biggest thing that I've learned while out on the campaign trail, I'll never forget, I was talking to this young lady and she had just come out of the hospital, and it's almost like we know certain things, but we don't tap into it. And it was about insurance. And she was talking about, she was a school teacher. She had been a school teacher for years, but she was just saying that it wasn't worth it for her going back or returning back. But her biggest concern was the insurance. She said that she had a major insurance claim. I think a tree or something that fell on her house, and she had to file a claim. And after she filed the claim, her insurance company dropped her. But she had had this policy for over 15 years. And they paid the claim, but they dropped her, and she had to go out to find new insurance company. And it was very difficult for her to find, because one of the questions on the insurance policy was, have you ever been dropped before? And certainly she had to say yes. And so she ended up getting an insurance policy that was extremely exorbitant, very high, and it was a problem for her, and like it would be for any one of us who own our own home. And so I was listening to her, and I thought, and it resonated with me. I've owned my home for a number of years, and I've never filed a claim. And the reason why I've never filed a claim is because of that very same incident, that if I filed a claim, I would be in jeopardy of either losing my insurance or my insurance going up really high. And I think a lot of Americans are feeling that same kind of pressure. I drive a Honda Accord and have paid for it years ago. I'm very frugal with how I spend my money, and I manage my money extremely well. And so my insurance went up on my Honda Accord, my old Honda Accord. And I was wondering, like, why is that? And a lot of Americans are experiencing a lot of inflation with things that they have already been paying for, been very good stewards about paying their bills and everything, but yet they're being penalized. And I know that that's something that we could work on in Congress, doing regulation with these insurance companies. Even when I talk with seniors and or working families, when they say that they get a raise, let's look at the Social Security, how Social Security has been balancing out. Seniors have been getting a raise on one end, and then guess what? The insurance company is also raising their premiums on the other end. So are they really getting a raise? So those are some of the things that I'm learning, that all of us are being impacted on one way or the other, and even on our jobs, how insurance companies are raising the rates. And yet, like, even if we get a 2 or 3% raise, the insurance goes up 2 or 3%. So are we really literally getting a raise? So inflation is meeting us at every end, not just in the grocery stores. It's also in our wages, on our insurances, and all those kind of things too. But I think that we need to really work with our elected officials as we move forward to make sure that there's regulations on a lot of these things, and we're not held hostage. One of the things I really advocate for is universal health care. I think that as the leading country in this world, in this global atmosphere, where other third world countries, and let's even compare it to Canada. Canada has universal health care. Surely America could have universal health care as well. And so those are some of the things I think that we could really do when it comes down to making sure that our families are taken care of.
Now, day one, you're in office. Day one. First, the victory. After the victory celebration, what is your focus? What is your focus?
Working families. Definitely working families, trying to make sure that we bring balance back to the homes. I've learned that affordable housing, I know people say they want affordable housing, but I'm talking about affordable housing for the working families are very critical for us to bring back places for our people can have dignity and respect to live. In the metropolitan area of Georgia, in Atlanta area, a one-bedroom apartment is $1,250. That means that you need to be making at least $39,000 or $40,000 to afford a one-bedroom apartment. We need to be working on those issues to make sure that we're not making homeless people or unhoused people as they're just working to make ends meet. Those are some of the biggest things that are pull on my heartstring. Reproductive rights for women and for all of our families are critical. Our needs for everyone. Voting rights is another one that we need to truly work on to make sure that everybody has the right to vote, because whether we believe it or not, the vote impacts everyone. Every dollar in your pocket, every dollar that you want to earn is tied to a vote. And so we need to make sure that our voting rights are fully restored, that John Lewis voting rights bill is critical for all of us as well. Education, when we look at the education in our country, especially in our districts, We want to make sure that we continue to grow and continue to strive. But for our young people who are not wanting to go to a four-year university, we need to make sure that they have the skill sets and trades in the community that are accessible for them. We can no longer leave our people behind. Everyone needs a skilled trade in order to make it in this country.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you said something about homelessness. And I see it when I go down to Atlanta. I see it a lot, but I see it throughout. It shocking enough, I see it, and maybe I shouldn't say it that way, but I see it a lot in Gwinnett County as well, where there's homeless people that are doing different things. What we can do? What can we do collectively? I know a lot of that's gonna fall fall on your lap in regards to that homeless situation. So what do we need to do to fix that or to curb that?
And that goes back to affordable housing. A lot of people, there was an article just came out about 2 weeks ago that said in America, nearly 50% of people are finding it very difficult to pay rent or meet their mortgage payments. And we're talking about 49.7% or so. So that tells us that we're not moving in the right direction. We have a lot of corporate entities and Wall Street people that are buying up blocks of housing that are interfering with the processes of people owning their own homes. And we need to find an easier market, an easier way for people to make sure they are, one, building wealth, especially in the Black communities. One of the biggest wealth builders in Black communities are owning your own homes. And we need to make a better pathway for that, even if it's coming down with helping them with down payment assistance, closing costs. Because I know a lot of people are knocked out of the arena just with the closing costs and the down payment assistance alone. So I'm going to try my best to figure out how we can make sure that home ownership is a top priority in our communities to help us stay in these communities as well. And then working with local officials to make sure that the millage rates are not so high where we're forcing increased taxes on top of the mortgages and the insurance rates that goes along with it, to make sure that families are staying in their homes. These are critical issues for all of us because any homeless person in the community impacts us all.
Wow, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna ask you another question. Then we'll open up the lines for other people. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Our young people. Our young people, man, they're some would say, some have the idea that they're out of control right now. But I think that if we give them a target, I think they have plenty of energy to run through a brick wall for you. If you kids don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. And so if they know that you care for them, if they know that you care for them, they'll run through that brick wall for you. But we have to make sure that we give them a certain target. And we have to break down certain things as we go to get them back to where they need to be. What is your idea in regards to our young people?
I worked at Job Corps for 14 years.
Wow.
So young folks pull on my heart. When people say, I need to do something for young people, I'm all in. And so you're absolutely right. I'll never forget, I went to work at Job Corps just to kind of give some of my time back to the community. And I end up falling in love with it so much that I stayed 14 years working with them. So, and some of my Job Corps students are still calling me, asking me, Miss Renee, what we doing, Miss Renee? And I love it. I truly love it. They're grown and everything and got families, but I truly love young people. And when you show them love, genuine love, you're absolutely right. They'll do whatever it takes to make sure that they get it right. One of the things I think that we need to, and this is what I found out when I went to Job Corps, because I really didn't understand the Job Corps program. I wanted to kind of get back, and so I kind of fell into it. What I realized is that Job Corps is a second chance program. And what happens is a lot of kids take on adult issues early on in life to no fault of their own. I don't believe that there's bad kids. I think they're bad systems. And I think that we set up systems for young people to fail. And sometimes it just happens in the household. If you have traumatized adults, you're going to raise traumatized kids. And so we need to provide wraparound services in a lot of these communities where people are just struggling and trying to keep up to make their ends meet. And so families, a lot of times they move from different communities to the next, and the kids go to this school and that school and they transfer. And so no stable environment. So when they go off to Job Corps, when they get there, you know, we offer them a place to live, clothing, food, and education, and counseling, therapy for them. And then we try to address the needs of making sure they have a high school diploma and a skilled trade so they can go back into the communities and be productive. And those are some of the things. Ain't no greater feeling in this world. And then they're helping your own people improve the lives of others. It's nothing greater to me than that. And I learned that early on in life, you know, like when I came out of law school, I worked for the Solicitor General's office. I didn't like it. No, my first job out of undergrad was political science. I was a graduate of political science. I was trying to get my master's, and a great guy. He passed on due to COVID, but got me a job in the prison. And in the Bureau of Prison, I got a job over in Virginia, and I hated it. Oh, can you say I hated it? Because what happened is I saw so many humans suffering, and I thought then, like, how can we help people not get to this stage in their life? And I know a lot of young men were selling drugs, or I mean, just like it was crimes or opportunities because they came from impoverished areas and communities. And that was the only way they saw out how to be successful in their communities. And I didn't like that. I didn't like seeing human beings, nonviolent crimes, just encaged. That bothered me a lot. So I came back, and then I worked for the DA's office. I did an internship after I got out of law school, and I didn't like that either. I didn't like putting people in jail. And then I worked for the solicitor's office for a while. I didn't care for that. But when I went to Job Corps in the service industry, helping young people be productive, I fell in love with that kind of environment. And then I went on to be a city council person. I was elected for 3 terms. I enjoyed that. I loved it. And so I know that my place is really helping other people. I also work with the NAACP, and we help people all over the world who had situations, finding solutions for their problems, making sure that we were being productive in that community. So, you know, you find your love language as you kind of like go through life. And one of my love languages is serving others. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this. And I really want to be a congresswoman who can really come back to the communities to make sure that we're being productive and improving the lives of our own people.
Absolutely. Each one teach one so they can turn around and reach one. That's how the thing works. Okay, you're looking at the screen. Did you lose your volume? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Raheem, having Raheem, I think you're muted.
No. Can anybody hear me?
This is Mo. I can hear you. I can hear her too.
Okay.
Yeah, both of y'all.
Okay. Yeah, it's some with your connection over there. Everybody's saying they can hear me pretty good. They're saying they can hear me. But let me go to Leonard. Leonard, you have a question or concern?
Well, very good. I wish you all the luck in the world today. I know it is very competitive, and for what you're trying to do and outlining like the things that you're interested in. How do you believe what is the best way to take people who have had issues and get them back into the workforce? Do you believe you just give them a unskilled job, or train them in a particular profession?
That's a really good question. And I think that's something that we all could work on together. But education, I think, is the biggest key to making sure our people are moving out of impoverished communities. Education and training. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a 4-year university. It could be a skill set, something like a certification in cybersecurity. You know, when I was at Job Corps, we taught A+ training, which is a part of cybersecurity. And if we have young people or anyone who really want to work and be trained or retrained. I think that's one of the fastest growing industries. So you can make over $100,000 in 3 years after your certification. Nursing is another one, healthcare field, ultrasound. I just think that we have to expose our people to these training certifications or training programs so that they know that they're absolutely out there. I am not necessarily a proponent on these private, so-called private schools that offer CNA education for $9,000 or $20,000. I think they rob our communities on those premises and bases. I think that we have a lot of great community colleges that we could tap into by working with the U.S. Department of Labor of the federal government. I understand that there's a lot of things that we could do in our communities, especially with faith-based churches that are vacant every Monday through Friday, that we could literally set up training programs in those faith-based programs like plumbing, electricians, HVAC training programs. I just think that there's so much things that we can tap into to make sure that the people in our communities, we can meet them where they are. Education, I think, and this is what I was trained when I was young. My grandmother was 96 when she died, and I'll never forget, like I was a little kid and I was walking her home. She lived up on the road up above us, and she loved to walk, and I wanted to walk with her. And I asked her a question, and I'll never forget the question I asked her: how to be successful? And she says, "Get your education." Education is one of the best ways to be freed from slavery and from within. And so I never forgot that, and I always took that with me. So I think the answer to your question is we need to educate our people, and we need to meet them where they are so that we can be a good helping hand to improve their lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go to Mo. Mo, you have a question or concern?
Yes. Good morning, future Madam Congresswoman. I agree with you. One of the statements you said about insurance, I had that same issue in the neighborhood I'm in. Atlanta has a lot of sick trees. And once you meet that deductible, especially if you have a tree that fell on your house more than once, which is what I encountered, and we were dropped by a major insurance company. I guess the first portion is, what committees do you hope to be appointed to? And I wanted to ask your opinion on whether the emollients clause needs to be revisited, revised, and amended. And just briefly, the emollients clause basically says that a president prohibits federal office holders from receiving any gift, payment, other thing of value from a foreign state or the rulers, officers, or representatives. And that was written during the time of this country's founding, in the 18th century. Since then, because of globalization and everything else, it's changed. And especially with Trump, we saw this. I mean, if any of us have seen these old films where, it takes place in the 1700s, they give people a sack of gold or a sack of money. Then they say that that should cover it. That should cover it. So I'm covering it up. So I'm just saying, it's going to come to a situation, I think, with the emollients clause. And as a fellow poli-sci holder, I wanted to see how you feel about that.
Well, one of your first questions, I think, was what committee I would love to sit on. The agriculture committee is really dear to my heart. I was raised on a farm in Selma, Alabama, and my dad still lives on a farm. My mother's having some health issues, so she moved in with me several years ago. And so farming is really dear, agriculture, because one, it covers not only with Black farmers and farmers in general, but it also helps with food deserts in our communities, and making sure that we have fresh fruits and vegetables to encourage and be supportive of the agricultural committees and farmers in our districts. And, looking at the 13th district, we still have a lot of USDA properties, territories, I should say, in that area, including in Rockdale, Gwinnett, in Clayton County, in Covington. And so we want to make sure that we continue the growth of our agricultural stance in there. So that's one of the committees that I would be very intrigued to stand on. And also this too, I want to say this. Do you know that those areas, those territories that are covered by the USDA, which is also agricultural, you can also get housing. You can get a mortgage in those districts at a lower interest rate. And so people who are looking at buying their own homes, I know I keep coming back to that, but I think that it's important that we educate our folks too. And the USDA offer mortgages, and they offer mortgages at a lower interest rate than what the average market has. So if you're looking to buy a home, look in those territorial areas where the USDA has a region in, and talk with a real estate agent who is familiar with that, to help get you a home at a lower interest rate, and you're probably owning a little bit more land as well. So that's one. So the Monia Clause, my thing with the Monia Clause is that because of the foreign policies that we have, one, Georgia just made this Georgia state representative, the governor just signed over a bill where the Chinese or people from overseas that are not U.S. citizens cannot buy land near military bases. And so, and also with the TikTok, you know, the Congress just signed a bill with the TikTok saying that those entities should not be owned by foreign companies. They want them to be based on, like Google has a database of all of our information and all of that kind of stuff. And they want only U.S. companies to own that kind of data. Let's kind of delve into that a little bit, because a lot of people are very confused about, and I know that I'll probably go all the way up to the Supreme Court, but the deal is the reason why they signed that was because they did not want a lot of the American data to be ended up in foreign hands. And so, you know, when you go on to TikTok, and people are now shopping on TikTok, so all of your data, they're tracking you and they're streaming you, they're following you, and they're tracking all of your information. And some people may say, well, I don't have anything to hide. You know, I live a normal, low, kind of under the radar kind of lifespan. So I don't really have a whole bunch, but that's not necessarily true. What happens is when there's so much information on how they're going to market you and how they're going to track your ability to even like get into certain programs, or, you know, like for instance, in China, if your cell phone gets below a percentage, right, it impacts your what's that, Equifax, your rating, your score, I can't think of the name now. But it impacts your score on your credit rating score. So you think that something so simple as letting your phone get below 20% will impact your scores. Remember when Trump was running the beginning, Russia kind of played a major role in the Facebook era, where they were sending out certain videos and subliminal messages to people to make sure that Trump was able to get into office. So what happens is when they track, like for instance, let's say if you like to buy a pair of Fruit of Balloons, and that's the only pair you like to buy. So what they'll do is they'll start tracking you, and they'll start sending you messages to kind of curb your process of thinking. And TikTok over in China is not the same TikTok that they have in the United States. So what happens is these platforms can be very dangerous. They can be very dangerous with all of your information being in the hands of your competitors like China and other countries. So I am very interested. I'm very interested in how we're going to proceed on certain things like that in Congress. I think that we need to be very careful of who we allow to have our data, because they do have influences. And if you don't believe that, think about the Cosby Show. Remember when the Cosby Show came into play, it was the first time ever we saw attorney and a doctor, a black attorney, a doctor, 5 beautiful kids, and they had family issues and problems. But guess what? Everybody wanted to be a Huxtable. And guess what? Everybody wanted to kind of tune into that every Thursday night. Our families, we tuned in, and it was one of the best things that we could have ever had to show a Black unit family being together, dealing with family issues in a kind of comedic kind of way, but yet serious on some of the surface areas. And we loved it. We embraced it. And it showed us that we can all be a family. And it showed us that we could be educated and trained and be sophisticated at the same time and have fun doing it. So the media plays a major role with people having certain data. Please don't think that when they show, it is really interesting. And when I was at the NAACP, I used to tell people all the time, there's always crime in all of our areas, right? Asian people have crime, they commit crime against each other. Whites commit crime against each other. Blacks commit crimes against each other. But however, it seems to be perpetrated that Blacks are the only ones that are committing the crimes. But you would think that based on what the media shows you. So I'm just saying how powerful media is, and these platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of those are very powerful platforms that share data, and they can be very controlling in your lives. So the harmonious clause, I think that we need it in place. I think that we need to strengthen it, even from collecting foreign money from other people. I think it's critical for us to continue on that pathway. I know it kind of got off a little bit, but those are some of the things that I think that we need to explore as we travel throughout this universe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me open up the phone lines, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Phone lines open. Give us a call. We have an opportunity this morning to talk to our future Congresswoman. I'm gonna tell you, man, y'all make sure y'all go out and vote. Y'all make sure y'all go out and vote. Take the time. It's not gonna take too much of your time, but go out there and vote. Please vote. I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for, but I will tell you one of the people that I'm voting for is on the screen right now, smiling at you. She's smiling at you. But let me go to Mo. Mo, good morning. Good morning again, Mo. You have any questions and or concern? I'm sorry, Pete. Let me go to Pete. I've been to Mo already. Pete, you there?
No, we don't have too much to say. Just want to encourage the sister. Congratulations on your endeavors and your resume. Thank you for your service on behalf of the people. I'd just like to encourage you to continue to do that. Congress, God bless you. And stay prayerful.
Absolutely.
We'll be praying for you over here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Curtis, you have any question and or concern?
No, I don't.
I can't believe Curtis don't have no question. Curtis always got a question, but okay. It's just you must be doing a fantastic job. You're doing a fantastic job. Let me go back to Leonard. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I think it's great that she's mentioned the USDA because there's a lot of opportunities there on helping people, especially deal with the homelessness. My concern is I don't think we're making a big enough distinction between affordable homes and homes for low income people. And when we see affordable housing, say for instance in Atlanta, is affordable housing considered $1,200 a month for a 1-bedroom? Or how are these? Because there used to be the Atlanta Consortium at one point, which really made a huge difference. And it got a lot of people in homes because it directly affected the lenders. Now, how do we construct a program that actually address the issues of low income people who need homes?
These are really good questions and very thought out questions as well. Okay, so this is what I've learned, and we are tricky people. And when we were talking about affordable homes, people say, yeah, but not in my district or not in my backyard, right? And it's amazing that people don't understand that a lot of times when you say low income, those people are working families just as well as people that have gone on and got in the STEM programs, doctors, lawyers, whatever. and they are, and we learned through COVID that they are essential employees, right? Essential workers, because without them, our whole economy will crash as well. So $1,200 a month for an apartment, a 1-bedroom apartment, is not feasible for our people. And a lot of people are falling into that gap where they need housing assistance. I've been sitting and listening to a lot of the housing authorities and trying to figure out how we can bring a balance to people's lives. Because even if you graduate from college, a lot of our graduates are not making $40,000 a year.
Exactly.
Just coming out of school. And we have to be realistic when we talk about like affordable housing and low income housing. I think that we need to address those issues and also address the wages. If you're working at McDonald's, you know, too often I think that we're bought into this capitalistic society, thinking that only the top 2% or top 1% or should be making all of the money, and people who are working 8 hours or 12 hours a day to make ends meet should just go home with pennies. We need to get away from that concept and make it fair and balanced for the working families. And wages are not meeting those standards right now, where people can literally make an opportunity to live a decent and respectable life. And so if you work at McDonald's and it's hard labor, if you're working at McDonald's, you still should be able to meet the needs of your communities by earning a decent wage to have a decent place to live. I truly believe in that. If you're standing on your feet for 8 hours a day, you know, I've heard nurses saying that, well, if people at McDonald's are making $20 an hour, I should be making more. But your service may be a lot different from standing over hot grease all day, pulling fries out of a bin. And so, but I still think that that person who was own the fry bin should be able to make a decent wage where they can help and meet the needs of their family. I don't think that they should be shunned. I don't think a McDonald's owner should be taking all of the profits home where your employees are truly suffering.
Exactly.
Let's look at Amazon, for instance. Mr. Bezos. Mr. Bezos is making billions of dollars, but his employees are suffering to even buy transportation to get to work. And then when you criticize them and they want to unionize their workplace, what happens is they cut the hours back so that they don't have to have full-time benefits. So, but Bezos is making billions of dollars where he'll never be able to spend that money in his lifetime. You'll never be able to spend that. Capitalism is real in this country, and it should not be that so easy where we dismiss it. People who work at Amazon deserve fair wages. And when you look at like the CEOs and they're making millions of dollars because they've kept wages low, to me is ridiculous. Young people should be able to work an honest and decent wage and bring home a living wage where they can afford to pay rent. And right now, a lot of people are finding it very difficult to do.
Wow, that's good. That's good. I'm loving it, sis. I'm loving it. We got another caller, Rico. Actually, another person on video with us. Rico, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning? Rico, you there? Okay, Rico may have stepped away for a second. Toussaint, question and or concern, sir?
Oh, I was just thinking sometimes we expect the person to do something because we don't know their job, or some people get it. So I remember the song Conjunction Junction, what's your function? What is, so that people won't misunderstand, or not, me myself, what's the job of a congresswoman, congressman? So in understanding what is the task that you have ahead of you. Because I was looking at Raheem say day one, after the victory, what next? And you said family. And so do we have time to celebrate? So those two questions, I guess that's two questions. Do we have time to celebrate? And what is the duty of the Congress?
Raheem,
Yes.
I could hardly hear him. Can you repeat the questions for him, please?
Yeah, he was saying it was two-part question. One was what are your responsibility of a congressperson? Tucson, what was the second part of the question?
All right, so
In light of everything that has to be done, the second one is, in light of everything that has to be done and the task ahead, is there even time to celebrate victory?
How do you celebrate after everything has been said and done? Are you going to even have time to celebrate the victory?
I don't think so. Let me tell you what I find happiness in is that along this journey, asking people to vote and meeting and being engaged in the community, a lot of times being the only congressional person in the 13th district out in the community, meeting residents. What I find is that I am really happy and I'm celebrating along the way with the residents as I'm engaging with them. I don't know. I don't know about a big celebration. I'm not that kind of person that does the big celebrations.
Yeah.
I like to kind of, I'm the person that likes to give a little hug, and I try my best to smile every day and enjoy the journey on the way. And I think, and I'm not saying that there's always highs, because there's some valleys in this process as well. But so I've been trying my best to enjoy the journey and celebrate the small victories as we move forward. One of the biggest duties of Congress is to make sure that we bring funding back to our district. We fight enough to bring funding back to the district. One of the biggest projects that we have facing in our communities, especially in the 13th district, and I'm running against David Scott, by the way. I'm not running against Hank Johnson, in fact, I really want to work with Hank Johnson. On the federal level, I got an opportunity to work with him with Job Corps, and he was a tremendous champion for young people. So one of the biggest fight that we're facing now is that we have aging infrastructure in our communities. In Gwinnett, for instance, was established in 1818. And so our infrastructure in Gwinnett is really in need of repairs. And Gwinnett is growing by leaps and bounds. So what that means is that some of Gwinnett systems are still on the septic tanks. And so we need to come in and help with repiping, water systems and sewer system, because if not, those initiatives, those repairs will fall directly on the residents, those taxes for that infrastructure. And I want to continue to help bring funding into that. Transportation is also critical for people to be able to get around in Gwinnett as well. From that, a lot of people are talking about that 85 corridor, how it's impacting how we get in and out. It impacts the quality of your life, actually. When you're sitting in that kind of traffic, that bumper-to-bumper traffic, it's really taking months and years off your life in those stressful environments. So we want to ease that, because what happens is when we deal with the infrastructure issues, we're also bringing in economic development and creating more jobs in our communities. So those are some of the first things that we're doing. So Congress, we legislate, we appropriate, and we make sure that we address the needs of our community. So anything that's on the federal level, that's what Congress does, making sure that the funding is there by the appropriations in the Means Committee. But also my thing is, I want to make sure that I'm working with your elected officials that are on the ground with you, your CEOs of your counties, your sheriff's department, your city council members, your mayors. I think all of those people are very important for us to work with, to make sure that we meet the needs of your communities. It was interesting to me. I got a call the other night about lights in Henry County. You know, this district goes all the way from Gwinnett all the way down to the panhandle of Henry and Clayton County. And one of the residents says, "How can you help us get some lights down here?" And I was like, well, that we have to work with our CEO of Henry County and our county commissioners and the city council members and mayors to make sure that we have lighting in those areas, because the people are moving in these spaces very rapidly, and they want to see, like, they don't want to see a dark city. They want their city illuminated so that when they're traveling through, they feel a little safer. So those are some of the things that we need to work on in Congress to make sure that we have that coalition and we're working on the needs of all of our residents. And one way we're not going to do that is building a collaboration with the people that you have elected.
Exactly. Sounds to me like, since you're gonna be very busy, there's a lot of work to be done. So what is it, what is your drive and your motivation to continue to do the work? Because you told me, you told us about the path that got you to where you are right now. And there's a lot of work in that path, in that journey. So what is the passion that keeps you going?
I don't know. It's like, I'm really excited about being your congressperson. And one of the things I truly love is it brings me joy to improve the lives of our own people in our own communities. So often I hear young people and people say, we elect these people and nothing ever changes. I want to be that change that people are asking for. I served as city council member for 10 years, was elected 3 terms, and I made a difference in our communities. And I know when I prayed to God, I asked God to let me make that difference. And so I'm challenged and I'm charged and I'm excited with the energy to be engaged in these communities and making sure. One of my residents called me yesterday and said, Miss Renee, can you come by the house? My granddaughter just graduated from college and she got all of these awards and I want to share them with you. I got them on my phone, so I don't know how. He's an older gentleman, he's in his 80s. He said, I don't know how to transfer them to you so that you can see. So you come by, I want you to come by here and I want you to see what my granddaughter has done. And that, when my thing was like, you sowed good seeds, and I want to celebrate him because he's helped his granddaughter, even if it was just by encouraging words, even if it was because I remember when I was in school and I remember I was tough, and I remember when things got tough, I wanted to hear my grandmother's voice. I picked up the phone and my grandma was like, baby, she was like, baby, it's going to be all right. And something about her saying, she didn't have, now let me tell you, my grandmother was not a wealthy woman, but it was something about her soothing voice on the other end of that phone when I had a tough and rough day, standing in these long lines trying to get registered. I'll never get that. I called my Medea. And I said, it's been rough. She says, tongue and teeth fall out sometimes. Tongue and teeth fall out sometimes, but they got to get along. And what happens is, just because you're having this little rough patch doesn't mean that you give up. You just keep pushing on along, keep going. And I did. So it's something about this man who was a resident and said, come by and see that. So I'm excited. Those are the kind of joyful things that I get. Those are things I celebrate because I think that they're genuine. And guess what? And people want to share their successes with you. And so Mr. Walker, I call him Papa Walker. I met him over 10 years ago when I was running, and he called me with, these are his concerns. And he called me. And sometimes I can get things fixed immediately, public works or whatever. But the fact is, he never gave up on me. And I never gave up on our communities to make sure that they're better. So those are things I'm charged with and I'm excited about doing in Congress, taking that same passion to Congress with us.
Every now and then I come up with a very weird question. And I think it just came to me a second ago, a very weird question. Can I ask you a weird question?
Yes.
Okay. If you could step outside of yourself and ask yourself a question, what would be that question?
Ooh, that's a good one. I've been on the phone since 5:30 this morning. And that's a good question. That's a really good question. What's the question I would ask myself? Sometimes I don't have the answers to everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I sit still and it comes, right? And
Yes.
because I'm solution driven. I'm not like I'm not one of those person, like for instance, when I had bosses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see a problem, I'm the person that says, okay, there's an issue or concern here, there's a problem, but I'm also going to bring you the solution.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to ask myself a question, I don't know. That's a really good one.
Mm-hmm.
When am I going to get a new car? I guess I don't know. Because I love my 2008 Honda Accord. My friends are asking me that same question. Karen, you need a new car? And I'm like, no, I love that car. I don't know. I just want all the people around me to be okay. My communities. When I hear people are in need,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that drive comes from, but I love serving others. So I don't know. I guess the question I would ask myself today is, when are you going to rest? Like get a little sleep or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question, though. That's a really good question.
See, that's why I love my weird questions. My weird question get the best.
That's a hard one too.
Exactly. Leonard, you had a question?
Yes. What is your stance on reparations?
Oh, I think that it's way overdue. To be honest with you, we're in 2024. Other groups have received reparations. However, Black Americans have not received reparations. And now they come up with this, well, what does that look like? What would that be like? Do reparation for Black people is long overdue. Somebody said to me the other day that in 30 years, everybody be Black. There'll be a little color in everybody. We're not the same Black folks. I said, then we need to make 50% above. If you're Black, 50% above, then you need reparation. The fact that we're descendant of slaves who built this country, I think that reparation should be handed down to Black America, the same as Indians who was a native of this country. Reparations should be passed down. I am a proponent of reparations. And even if it looks like free education for all Black Americans or free healthcare, universal healthcare for everybody, then I am so ready for reparation. Even if it's funding or money for Black Americans, I am for reparations. I am tired of people saying that we need a committee to explore it. We need to consider it in this fashion. I think it needs to be done. And I think that it needs to be done immediately. I'm just over the fact that we're in 2024 and we've been talking about this since 1980, 1907. Even Spike Lee, like what we were giving 40 acres and a mule, and that has never happened. And so even if we were given 40 acres, every Black person on this planet, in America, 40 acres and a mule, I'm willing for that.
Yeah.
So I am all down for reparation, but I'm ready for it today. And I hope I didn't run you away with that answer, but that's just how I feel.
No, not at all, because I know it's very important. And I see a terrible effort in our communities with young Black people trying to use this issue as leverage. And I would advise anyone running for office to make that part of your platform, that you do support reparations, because young people are trying to use this as leverage to discourage voting.
Exactly. We have another caller from the 251 area code. Is it Glenda?
Yes.
Hey, Glenda, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm great. Happy. Had a birthday on yesterday. I hear this young lady online who had something to say regarding reparations, and I had something that I would like to share.
Okay. And happy belated birthday to you.
Yeah, happy birthday from yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
46 years. So God is good. I'm calling in because I wanted you guys to know that the last time I called, it may have been a bit choppy, may have been hard to understand. But this is what God is doing regarding me and his plan. This is it. God's plan to evaluating the total needs of the people. This is a survey. Please answer the following questions. These questions are designed to create data in support of necessary demands for reparations. It's mandatory at a time like now in America to stabilize our cultural foundation. Honesty is required to all participants' ability. No judgment will be made on anyone who's choosing to not release certain information. Our primary goal with this plan are to identify supporters, gather information, and establish an effective plan. Information provided will grant knowledge of a percentage of people who are willing to support reparation demands, create and collect necessary data to prove facts surrounding the effects of terror and tragedy. Lastly, develop strategic effective plans to combat these daily systemic setups. Participants' duties are to keep this survey confidential, sign a contract to a gag or gag order to assure that their voice is heard. Understand totally how this information is going to be handled. And lastly, test your ability to work with family and friends through referrals. The benefits of this survey are as follows: understanding what your social circle has to say, knowledge of this plan being received by the community, what assets could result in great participation, becoming better organized to strategize effectively, allow the community to benefit financially from participation, and to break down knowledge of legislative and judicial acts put in place that has systemic effects. No matter what your choice or your level of participation may be, this survey is the beginning of an effective movement to change, which is needed for stabilizing the lives of African American Blacks today. Consider this an honorable act to your culture. This survey is being used for research, gathering data, and informing and enlightening our community. Okay. Information received will help adequately understand the overall needs of the people, and it's also being used to calculate the total demands for the U.S. government in compensation for slavery and its generational effects on African American lives across this country.
Okay, hold right there for a second. Karen, did you want to comment on what the survey that she said it was, or?
And I think I kind of hit on it with the last question, because that is exactly what I was talking about, how they want a survey and they want committees and they want to do research and they want data. I just think it's time to pull the trigger on reparation. I really do. And I'm glad that you brought this to attention.
No, not you, Karen. You keep going.
Oh, okay. I'm glad that the caller brought this to our attention, because this is I think this is another delay tactic to delay reparations to Black people, to Black Americans. I just think that we just need, like if it's a Black American, put it on the voting bill, like they do everything else, like reparation, like reproductive rights. That is on the ballot. So democracy is on the ballot. So for the Democratic ticket, like put it on the ballot so that people can vote for it and move on. If that's the case, I just think that reparation for Black Americans is just, I think that we've prolonged it way too long. And this is another delay tactic for people to delay it even further. I just think, they gave Asians reparations. They gave the Indians reparations. And I just think that, Blacks built this country and enslaved factors, and we're still, in a lot of ways, being oppressed now, if you really ask me. So I just think that I like what you just read. I've read that survey. I just think it's just another delay tactic for them to keep kicking the can down the road so that they will not do or provide reparations for African Americans. This is how I feel about it.
Absolutely. Hold right there. We got to keep. Hold on, Miss Karen. Hold on. We got to keep it going. We got a couple other people on here. Let me go to Rico. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
I can't complain. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes. Loud and clear. What's on your heart, brother?
I heard you speaking earlier about the traumatized parents raising traumatized children and the housing situation. But I was wondering, because there have been plenty of efforts made to reform family courts. And as I've witnessed with my own eyes, nowadays, parents are being held accountable for neglectful parenting. Truancy, they're not being held accountable for truancy. What efforts would you make to sort of change that system that you spoke of that is enabling or allowing these situations to happen with these children? Because as of now, I'm a father.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
With my son, and I'm meeting more and more parents as seeming to become victims of family courts instead of becoming helped the way that they should. And more schools or more laws is not holding the parents accountable for being neglectful parents. What would you do, or what could we do to change the system that's in place?
I think I think this is something we need to be addressing on a daily basis, actually. I don't believe that they're bad kids. I think they're bad systems. I want to keep saying that. I think that the way we're set up the school systems now is we talk about equal, but we don't talk about equitable. And what I mean by that is this: a lot of times when you have impoverished areas or impoverished communities, wraparound services are not provided. And I think in our educational systems, we need to be equitable. What I mean by that is, I'm just going to take a community, let's say in Rockdale, we got the Honey community, very influential homes, great schools that are out there. In Gwinnett, we have some great schools. Let's say even in Fulton County, you go to Alpharetta, you got schools that high schools or schools that look like college campuses, right? And they in the state gives one child $1 over in Alpharetta. Let's just say these college campus, high school campus that look like, college campuses. They give them $1. And then on the south side of town, where in impoverished neighborhoods, they give them $1 for every child. And I'm using that as an example. However, on the south side of town, when you have kids that are being having taken on adult issues at an early age, and I'm talking about serious adult issues where parents have trauma issues, passing on trauma issues to their children. And when they go to school, I'll never forget when I was working at Job Corps, this young kid was in class and threw a soda can at a teacher. I mean, gave a major outburst, and the child had never done that before. And they called me in because I had somewhat of a broken relationship with this young person. And I sat the person down because I couldn't figure out what happened. But guess what? The night before, their entire house went up in flames, and everything they owned, she had on the back of her back, like she didn't have anything else, right? And so she didn't know how to deal with emotions, did not know how to deal with the conflict that was going on in her family. And even though Red Cross had put them up in a hotel, but she didn't know where she was going to end up the week after that. So I'm saying that because in school life, we have those same kind of issues with young people not understanding how to deal with the issues that they're facing and dealing with at home. I think we need wraparound services. And equitable means that we need more social workers in school. We need counselors. Right now, you have like one counselor to every 3 schools over on the south side of town. Meet the needs of our young people. And so when they act out because they don't know any better. I was raised at home with mama and daddy. At 5 o'clock, we had dinner on the table, and all of us had to sit and eat. It wasn't you eat rice and peas and somebody had McDonald's and that kind of stuff. They had one meal, one course for you, and you ate, and we had family discussions. Now, I understand that a lot of families are not like that today. So what happens is they don't get an opportunity to talk about the daily life of what was going on, or even help sort out some of the things that are going on in their heads, or even in their classrooms or community. So I believe that one of the best ways that we can help young people is making sure that we give them the resources that they need in school, making sure that we have social workers available, wraparound services for parents, even that, like even a job training program for adults who like missed out. Because you got kids now, young adults who are having kids dropping out of school, and they're trying to raise a family. I'll never forget in Job Corps where kids got pregnant and their parents said, you got to go, you got to get out of here. So where are you going to go at 14 years old and you're pregnant? Do you understand what I'm telling you? And these are real, true life experiences for some of our young kids. And so now you got a 14-year-old in a housing unit trying to raise a kid, and she hasn't even been raised herself. So I believe social services, we have to get back to accepting the fact that a lot of our young people need help in counseling, therapy, education, and you're right, making parents accountable. But the only way you can make parents accountable is you got to educate and train them as well. So that means the parents will also need wraparound services. This judicial system where kids got point systems in the state of Georgia, they got, you understand when I say point system? Let's say if they go and steal a car, then they get 3 points. But they got to get at least 13 to 23 points in order for them to be even dealt with. Because right now, they'll just get parents, you need to come get your kid. Little Johnny broke into a car, so he got 2 points for the night. And then that. So I think that we need to be holding parents accountable as well. Like, for instance, like perhaps put them in parenting classes to say, look, you know, what is going on in your household that you can't manage him? And I'll never forget, remember that young lady that was in Atlanta? Her kid was shot up that night. And what happened was he had pulled a gun on someone. He was stealing a car or something. And she said, I begged for someone to help him because he was out of control at home. And I couldn't get him to behave at home. And I would go to work and he would leave. And he was like 13 or 14 years old. And he was doing gangster stuff. And finally, it caught up with him and he was killed. But she came to the city council meeting pleading. And I listened to that. And I was like, well, how could we have helped that situation, that household? And so many parents are dealing with those same issues at home. I remember when we imposed a curfew, when young folk wanted to tear up Camp Creek Parkway, they wanted to destroy the investment that we had made. And there was a shooting right after the AME, the movie that it let out. It was a shooting, and we called an emergency meeting. And we said, one thing we're going to do is we're going to work with the business people, but we're also going to work with the parents, and we're going to put a curfew in place. Now, a lot of parents said thank you. You know why they said thank you? Because they could tell their kid, you can't go out, you'll get arrested. And it was a form of boundaries that the city had put in place, and the parent can lean back on that boundaries and say, if you go out beyond 9 o'clock without another parent with you at your age, you're going to be in trouble. And I can no longer afford to bail you out. So parents were thanking us as a city council person. They were thanking us for putting those boundaries in place. There were some parents were saying, I don't like that. We don't like it, but our thing is we have to protect the investments that we have in our communities. And it means our schools need protecting. We need to put things in place. And I really believe that therapy is one of the best ways to help a lot of these troubled youth that are dealing with adult issues at an early age. I hope I've helped you some with that, because I truly believe in that. I truly believe that we need more counselors. I think we even need social workers on the police force. When parents call for a psychotic breakdown in the household, I think that licensed social workers or licensed counselors should be on site to help deal with those issues, because I don't think that every police officer is able to or even equipped to deal with that. A lot of them have high school diplomas and don't understand the psychological impact that they are carrying a gun could impose on some people who are having a psychological breakdown. So I'm just saying that I think that parents, yes, but not just punishment, education and training, because punishment doesn't do any good. It's like a father who cannot afford to pay child support, but we take his driver's license or we put him in jail. Well, if I'm punishing you, how is that helping the family who needs the money to pay the light bill if I'm sitting you in jail? I can't rationalize that behind my head. If your license, if you're a CDL driver trying to make a living by driving trucks, but I take your license away from you because you can't make your payment, how is that going to help you sitting in jail or taking your license? I don't believe in that form of punishment. I believe in education and training and processing to make sure that we can meet the needs of the community, not taking the needs away.
Exactly. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. You're listening to DKM Media Group, and this is the Morning Glow. And we have the honor, thrill, and the pleasure of having our future Congresswoman with us this morning. And so I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you who to vote for, but I will tell you who I'm going to vote for And if you're smart, like I know you are, you might vote for the same person. And she's right there before you, right there before you. Curtis, you being a counselor, brother. Curtis, you being a counselor, what did you hear in the last exchange with these children, man, and how to help them?
Well, first and foremost, the sister, you got a long road ahead of you, but I'm wishing you the best.
Thank you.
Because her biggest fight as a counselor, I'm looking at it from the perspective of what her biggest fight is. And I have a political background as well. Your biggest fight is going to be against the insurance lobby. Because one of the biggest problems we have right now, in all reality, especially from the mental health perspective, the mental health side, is that these insurance companies are being pushed, but they are really not paying for the services that they say that they're going to provide or that they're going to support. So your sister is right when she was speaking earlier, when she was saying, look, we gotta deal with this insurance. And it goes beyond just homeowners insurance, car insurance, things of that nature. The medical insurance is in my opinion, it's the most condoned racket in the United States. It is a racket. So I would love to stand in support of the sister with dealing with these insurance companies, because that is a large reason why folks are not seeking certain medical issues and trying to tackle them, because they can't afford them. And the insurance companies, you get up and you go to work 40 to 60 hours a week, you pay into an insurance that really does not cover the things that you need medically. So, even in setting up programs, we have to be very careful that the programs are not, and this is going to sound crazy when I say it, but we have to be very careful that if we're going to set up programs, that we issue the right money to support the program, because we can have programs all day, but if the programs are not properly funded, you will see such things as, just one to throw out there, is No Child Left Behind, where phenomenal program, but was it funded properly? No, it wasn't. It wasn't even funded a nook of the cranny of the pie that could even make the program effective. We have to really look at positive outcomes. We got to start looking at outcomes. You got a bunch of programs out here that is getting all of this money, millions and millions, multi-millions of dollars, who in all reality, their positive outcomes are strictly for paper. It's strictly for paper. And I could give you an example of a positive outcome that you would say, what? That's considered positive? But in that realm of programming and resource supportive services and resource services, yes, that's considered a positive outcome. So we really have to evaluate what are positive outcomes, which outcomes are productive to the society as a whole, and which outcomes are productive to the individuals, which then become productive to the society as a whole.
Wrap it up, Curtis.
I think she's on the right. I think she's on the right. I think she's on the right road. I just hope that she has the right people around her to support her in her quest, because people get phony when you start when somebody throw a couple of hours their way and You know, they say they supporting you, but the whole while, you know, they the detriment to your cause.
Good
you know
deal.
What I mean?
Good deal.
I don't have nothing else to say after that.
All right, good deal. Karen?
I value what you're saying. And remember, you know, I have a law degree, but I chose to go to work for Job Corps, turning down dollars that would, you know, like my colleagues, they making a lot of money. I chose a pathway to serve our people because I really want to see us do good in this world. I really want our lives to improve. So it's not necessarily about the money. For me, what it's about for me is like truly improving the lives of others. This call that I took at 5:30 this morning was from a dear friend of mine, and he called to say thank you. He said that one of your biggest supporters. I've never met this particular man, but I was telling him on the phone, I said, hey, you have a friend by the name of, and I gave him the friend's name, and he says, Karen, you don't know him, but what happened was during COVID, we got the NAACP, I wrote a grant, we got a grant, and to help people assist them in paying their rent. And he said that, Karen, what you did was you helped pay the lady's rent. You saw where her children did not have tablets because they had closed the school system. And one of the initiatives that I came up with is we need to provide tablets for these young people, because if there's only one computer in the house and they got 3 or 4 kids, that means that a lot of our young people were going untrained at the moment because they had school that were like Zoom. They were Zoom classing over the internet. And so, because I saw a lot of young people out playing, I'm thinking, like, we need to do something about this. And when I was asking the housing authority what happened, and they were saying a lot of kids doesn't have but one computer at home, and they have 3 and 4 kids at the house, and so they can only use it one at a time. And so I raised a lot of funding to make sure that we put tablets in the home. And so this man was saying that she not only cared about my daughter's rent, she made that my grandkids had tablets in the home so that they could continue the education and needs that they could be met, because I didn't want us to be lacking of. And then the daughter lost a job. I don't know this young lady. The daughter lost a job, but this was the conversation this morning. We made sure that she had food. We did food. I set up 2 food site distributions while as city council person, and it came. One of them came directly out of my own pocket and funding, because I saw that there was a need in the community for young people to be tutored over the summer breaks, and we kept that going. And we had Clark students, University of Clark University students come in and tutor them on the weekends to make sure they were caught up for the week, so that these kids will go back and they wouldn't lose what they had learned. And so we continue that even till today. So I'm not really driven by funding. What I'm driven by is to make sure that our people lives are being improved, and we want to make sure all is well for our people in the community. So it's really critical for me. And that's what drives me every day. So this morning when that man called me, a good friend of mine called me, I literally was in tears, because it's nothing greater to me than helping improving the lives of others. And it was good to know that sometimes I can make an impact on people.
Wow. Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good?
Yeah, it does. It really does. And Raheem, tell them what you're doing for the kids during this summer. Tell them how you're trying to make an impact with just like changing a smile, adding a smile to young people's faces over the summer. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, because that is a really good thing to do for young people. I remember my parents did that for us when we were kids.
Wow. And what she's talking about, we actually and you all, I think y'all heard it before. I said it on here several times before. We're trying on Tuesday, excuse me, June the 25th. She got me choked up. I'm trying to take underprivileged elementary kids on a free trip up to the age 11 to Six Flags over Georgia. We're trying to get 20 to 30 kids. We got people that's actually donating right now, and there's a way that you can donate as well. I would definitely put the information on the screen. So if you're interested in doing so, we certainly would could use your help. We could use your help, but we're trying to take these kids that in normal situations will not have an opportunity or just can't afford, their family just can't afford to take them to Six Flags. Some of them may live right around the corner from Six Flags, probably have to pass it all the time, but just can't go inside because they don't have the funding to do so. So we're trying to help them out in that regard. Let me go to Toya with the T. Pull the screen up. Pull the screen up. You ready now? Toya with the T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning? Toya, are you there?
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all
There
doing?
you go. Hey, doing good, doing good. And, you ain't say it like you usually say it now. Okay, you. I know you're gonna run for president in a couple of years, so I think you're putting your presidential voice on right now. But right now we have this young lady.
That's really just my tired voice. But okay.
Oh, that's pretty.
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
There you go.
Good morning.
Doing good. We have this young lady. She's actually going to be our next congresswoman. She's running for office. Today is the day we need to get out there and vote. Do you have any questions and or concerns?
I guess this is my thing, right? I love the passion. I think a lot of people before they run for a political office, they have that passion when they want to help. But it seems like they get up in there and the help don't never come back this way. So with all of those great things and wonderful things you want to do, you're one out of how many Congress people? Even if it's not about the money, I think it's about the fight, because everybody don't want what you want. So in order to get those things that you want to put into our communities, which are effective, when we all know it, even the United States, the people, they hire people, they know that these things are what we need to focus to get us where we need to be as a community. We also know that, it's part of money. So this plan that you're willing to have that is actually going to help people, how much of a challenge do you think is going to be to get your counterparts on? Because this is something that doesn't need to happen in Georgia. This needs to be something that all of the Congress people understand, all of our senators understand, all of the people that's in the House of Representatives.
Okay, I think we may have lost it there, but do you want to comment on the part that she said?
Right. I've served as a city council member for 3 terms, and some people used to call me the soul of the council. And remember, on the city council level is bipartisan. So to me, it was always about the residents and meeting the needs of the residents and helping change communities. And I was challenged the same way when I ran for city council member. The situation was, how are you going to turn this community around? There were a part of my district where it was a very impoverished. You could buy property in there for like $5,000. Blightedness. It was blight property. It was trash. It was boarded up houses. Grass was knee high and above, rats and everything else. And guess what? You had older people living there who had been there 30 and 40 years.
Wow.
The gentleman that called me yesterday said he had been in that community 60 years. I had people that were living on one street that were 3 people that were over 100 years old prior to COVID. So, and I remember walking that community. I remember after I got elected, I got those same group of people who were energized and passionate the way I was, and we started cleaning up that community. We started picking up paper. We started logging what house needed to be boarded, what house needed to be, grass needed to be cut. We made a conscious effort to truly make a difference. And we had people like you. I never forget, I showed up at our community cleanup. The neighbors had started organizing community cleanup. And I said, I want to come. And I came out, it was early Saturday morning. And one of the guys, it was a big guy. And he says, where are elected officials at? Well, they ain't even here. They don't show up until it's time to vote. And the wife was trying to stomp on his foot and said, she right here, shut up, she right here. And he says, we got elected officials here. And I didn't look the part, I guess, because, it's time to clean up. You don't need a dress and heels on. You got to have your hat and your arm and your gloves ready, because we really wanted to do the work. So, and guess what? That same property, that same community right now, you cannot buy a piece of property in that community under $250,000.
Wow.
You can't, and properties have been selling in there for $750,000. I get it. I hear what you hear. And elected officials get in office, and then they don't do what they promised to do. They don't even try. So I think being in Congress, one, is about serving the needs of the people. You don't want your elected officials up there
battling and just nutting up and just acting crazy. What you want is true results. I think that I can bring true results back to Georgia. And it's also serving this country and serving it well. The truth is, you're right. You do need a collective group of people to vote for the best interest of this country. I think that we all working together, and that means it's not just my part, because when I helped clean up my communities, I didn't do it by myself. I came with a team of people.
Yes.
And the residents in my community, I didn't want to let them down, and they held me accountable. If you call them and you talk with them, they'll tell you when you call her, she's going to answer the phone. We're going to make sure that your needs are being met. If that's what you want in an elected official, being engaged in your community, coming through, making sure that they're listening to the residents, and making sure not only they're listening, they're following through on what the residents want. Every community that in this 13th district is somewhat different. Gwinnett is way different from Clayton County. The needs there are much different from Clayton County. But guess what? All of us want at the end results a great place to live. You know, so I hear you, and you're right. It takes a collective effort for all. But this is what happens. You guys, y'all, we elect our elected officials and we say, off you go, and we want to see results. But working together, hand in hand, picking up the phone too, or saying, hey, where are we standing on these policies? Where are we going with this? Hold us accountable so that, guess what, when my office, when you call the office, not only do we answer, we'll have some proven results for you, but we're also coming back to the community, hosting town hall meetings, educating and training and telling you what's really going on to make sure that you are aware, and so that you can continue to hold us accountable to make sure that your lives are changing and improving in the right direction. I really believe in that.
Absolutely. Rico, you have any other question and or concern? Rico, you there? Leonard, talk to me.
Like I said, I understand, you know, the fight that's ahead of her and getting others to get on board with what she's trying to do. I'm a big supporter, excuse me, a big supporter of people getting involved and participating as an activist for so many years. And we meet these people to try to bridge the gap between the communities and the politician, and to get people to understand that if you're not voting, it's probably why you're not getting what you should be getting. If this young lady says this is what she's going to do, vote for her. Put her in office. If she don't do what she said, get her out of there. So make her prove to you what she says. And I think that's what's most important. Like I said, I'm going to go and vote for Mr. Baker because Hank Johnson is not on my ticket like he used to be. A big shout out to Hank Johnson and how he supports us and has for so long with keeping us informed about what he is doing in Congress and how we help and support him do what he's doing. And there are a lot of things that people don't understand with the relieving of debt, insurance costs, and things like this. This young lady who's going for U.S. Congress still has to come back and work with Georgia. So we have to make sure that if we can't just jump on her back, we got to make sure that, one, we're also voting up the line for people that share the same goals as her. Absolutely. Like Hank Johnson says, hey, I'm moving, but this guy is going to still support the stuff and the programs that I've been working on all this time. So, and it helps continuity in these programs, because a lot of times when you say you want a program, how many people take advantage of the program? We can't just blame the politician. Did people meet the objectives they were supposed to meet? In the programs.
Exactly.
Did somebody go back and revisit the program to make sure it wasn't meeting the needs of the people that it was supposed to? So I like what she said about working hand in hand to get it done, because too often we think that, hey, we're going to send her to Congress and she's going to fix our life. I don't think that's the way it works. I really don't.
Wow.
So I do support you in your efforts, and I really do hope that you win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leonard, stay with us, man. We're gonna get you the prayers out today. Rico, you have a question and or concern? Rico, you there? Now Rico done left out and came right back in. I figured
I'm good.
Okay. Oh, okay, got you. Okay, good deal. Let me see. It's already 10 o'clock. Let me see. We have Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Oh, good morning. I wasn't. I just kind of came in late, but I didn't know what district the lady's in, and I didn't know any legislation to sponsor. I didn't hear anything, and but I was hearing what she was saying about a different program, the South Fork and everything. My niece was married to Bill Williams' son, Bill Williams Jr. He was the first mayor there, and he's the one that set up that amphitheater over there. But the reason I'm asking is because some of the programs, I've been involved since, civil rights and all that since the 60s. But in the late 60s, 70s, they had a Model Cities program where millions of dollars distributed in Atlanta and around the country in individual cities, a Black population. None of that money came to the community. In Atlanta, we had billions of dollars that went into East Point, first to destroy it, and then to supposed to rebuild it. And I was hearing, and there were people like over 100 years old living all over from Sunset down in Magnolia Street. And I forgot, I used to work with all the time. They used to have that district state company. But anyway, so they improved the thing. And I was with the Howard City Mouse program, right? Where they actually was a 6-foot wall of sewage that flooded down through East Point, not East Point, but Van City in 2002. And what they got was a bunch of promises and affordable housing. This is where I come with the 100-year-old people. Some people didn't die till after the sewage was removed. They died from infection or different things, the elderly people. Now, they put up a big, expensive thing, and they thought it was going to be affordable. Then the income went up to $67,000. And along with all that building and saving and all that, the tax rate went up. So those people have been there. Some of those people have been there since almost obviously 1800, right? They could not afford to live there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they cannot afford to live there. The state will not sponsor enough money to live there. They had a city program, but it was going up. And y'all see Martin Luther King Drive. It looks terrible. They done put all kinds of statues and everything and blocking from historical places from getting into. But anyway, it's the idea of what people are doing. And I learned one thing when I worked in the city of Atlanta and around the country, that there are thousands of programs. People have went and got money to pay the programs. Like over, again, Van City is one point. But guess what? They only have limited sources. And when they start off, they go to the people and find the people. Now they don't go to people to find the people. They want the people to find them because they have a limited number of people they can serve.
Okay. Wrap it up for me, Ibrahim. Got to get out of here.
Okay, wrapping up.
No.
What I'm saying is, with all good.
Finish your thought, though. Finish your thought, brother.
Okay, with all good intentions, right? Then how come that these programs that already exist, people can't get together and find another way of resources, like be self-sustaining? They're getting this done. Remember that, I don't know if y'all remember, but Arthur Blank gave a couple of $1 million to set this program in over there in Van City for youth and everything, right? But they came back the next year. They got this big old pretty building and everything. They got limited programs set up. They're trying to discriminate certain people. Then at the end of the year, they went to, Arthur Blank, you'll get some money. He said, what are you talking about? You can't support yourself? This is the type of thing that I want people to think about when they go into this good intention and only serve a few people and turn people against others, those that have not. That I got to pay all this money to get my daughter or son a laptop, and if these kids get it for free, and I'm paying all these taxes for these schools and everything.
Ibrahim, we got to take off, brother. We got to take off. Ibrahim, we got to take off. It's already
working for the people.
Ibrahim.
Let's look at the legislation and also.
Okay, sometime I got to use my mute button. I hate to do it, but sometimes I have to. Sis, I just want to thank you for coming on with us this morning. I want to give you opportunity right now. The floor is absolutely yours. If you have anything that you want to say, if you want to ask people for the votes, because I'm asking for the votes for you, but I want you to do it for yourself. And so I'm gonna step back. The floor is yours. Anything that's on your heart, any contact information or anything you want to say at this moment.
And thank you, the last caller too. I understood exactly what you were saying. I'm Karen Renee, and I'm running for Congress in the 13th district. And that district comprised of 6 counties: Rockdale, parts of Gwinnett, parts of Newton, a small portion of DeKalb County, a small portion of Clayton and Henry County. I am not running against Hank Johnson. I would love to work with Congressman Hank Johnson. I think he's an awesome person who loves his community and worked really hard for the community. In fact, I've learned a lot from him. I'm actually running against David Scott in that newly redrawn 13th district. I'm Karen Renee, and I want to say thank you to all the listeners this morning. I've had a great time answering your questions and being here on your platform. And I'm hoping that I could join you again. Please have me back. You have your audience is very well educated and trained, and they got good questions. And I truly enjoy being a part of this platform this morning.
Hey, to God be the glory, sister. You know, you got a seat at the table. Whenever you want to come back, you got a seat at the table. You already know. You got a seat at the table.
Thank you. So go out and vote for Karen Renee. If you see my name on the ballot in any of those counties, please vote for Karen Renee. Absolutely.
Later, I'm gonna give you double duty, brother. What's going on at 3 o'clock today? Because somebody was watching this broadcast and they said, my God, I missed them. They came on 8:30, quarter till, or whatever the case, but they missed a big part of it, and they want to hear the rest of it and hear it in its entirety. Later, is there a way you can help them out?
If you did not get a chance to hear this show in its entirety, please log on to www.dkmmediagroup.com at 3 o'clock Eastern today.
Good deal. Now, Leonard, double duty. Pray us out, brother.
Oh, most merciful and benevolent Father, we thank you once again for giving us an opportunity to reach and touch and speak into people's lives. Positive, encouraging power, dear Heavenly Father. We like to bless each and every one of those who are listening today, who may not have known certain things, but we hope that they learn, dear Heavenly Father. Rest, rule, and abide with each and every one of us as we pursue this life, and hope that we can pursue it and produce more abundance, dear Heavenly Father. These and other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Man, thank you. I want to thank everybody for joining us. It is now 10:11. I want to thank you for joining us, but we're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before we go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us, because we are certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug, because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And we shine some less light on you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in, and let your light so shine. Get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other, and please be blessed. Give somebody some love and truth. They would appreciate it, and I'm sure that you will as well. See you tomorrow morning, if God says the same. Love ya, and you all have just the best day.